You may not get that call on the road.
Brewer lobs, tapped out of there by Beverly, and he's going to be called for the foul over the back. But probably a good foul, because if he wouldn't have swatted that away, it would have been a dunk underneath. Don't forget, the Buckeyes and the Badgers will tip off about 10 after 9, and we're done here. And Florida has had to battle tonight with their rivals from the SEC.
You haven't seen Greg Oden play, the true freshman for Ohio State. Make sure you tune in. He visited Arkansas last year, and Stan Heath said he asked more questions about the academics than anyone else that's ever visited. That's the kind of kid Greg Oden is.
And a timeout taken by Arkansas with 1:37 to go. They have a vital possession right here. Down by 6.
30-second timeout, Arkansas. Razor.
Two big guys for Florida trying to prevent any scoring on the inside. And the person of Al Horford and Joakim Noah. And I mentioned their statistics are nearly identical, both offensively as rebounders and defensively. Look at these numbers. 8.3 rebounds a game, tied. Coming in, those were the blocks. They've both added some tonight. And 12.2 and 12.4. You can't split it up any better than that.
No, and the guy on the left is a steady 24 hours a day, smooth type guy. The guy on the right plays the game by pounding his chest and pounding his jersey, but they complement each other very well. Horford keeps Noah grounded. Noah keeps Horford excited about the game.
One smooth jazz, one's reggae.
That's nice.
That's
kind of like me and you. You're smooth jazz. I'm reggae. I'm country.
You're reggae. That's right.
Yeah, I'm country.
1:37 left. Arkansas, if they get a bucket here, it's going to be an interesting finish.
I don't think you need a 3 if you're Arkansas. You like to have a set play that says we got a 3-point shooter here. Boom, if it's not there, then here's our 2-point option. But you need to score with some efficiency and some quickness right here with 1:37 to go.
Wow, Thomas got a nice pass in, but Brewer with a defensive play not only tipped it, he tipped it off the guy taking the shot and out of bounds, and Florida gets the ball back.
I think that's what separates him from the Orlando Tuckers and Brandon Rushes and Josh Ships, Rashawn Terry's, Ron Lewis at Ohio State. The guys that play that 3 position for those Final Four type teams, I don't think they have a Corey Brewer. As good as those guys are, he's better and more versatile.
So one thing Arkansas didn't need on that possession was a turnover, and Stephen Welsh trying to go to the rack, had it knocked away by Corey Brewer, which might be the play of the game and the play that ices this Gator ball game tonight with 1:20 now to go. They're using clock again as Humphrey and Green will just weave out on top. They'll wait until they get down to about 8 before they start to make a play to the basket. And here's Torian Green at 8. The high post to Horford. Now Humphrey for 3. Kill shot right there. Irvin fouled, and he and Torian Green have a couple of words.
Was that last possession by Florida? Final Four / national championship good.
Perfect.
Shot clock winding down. Horford squares up with a big rear end screen that frees up Humphrey. Watch Horford right here. Give the ball up. Boom. Then his big keister becomes the screener for Humphrey, and a dagger is delivered by 12 in white.
Lee Humphrey's 215th career three-pointer might be the one that finishes things off. Irvin's had a good ball game tonight. I think much better than what we saw against Texas Tech earlier this year. Coming off a great game. He had 11 assists, 6 rebounds, and 18 points. SEC Player of the Week with what he did against Alabama. Tonight he's got 9. And we're just under a minute. Washington's going to check in. Some length on defense. Don't forget Ohio State, Wisconsin in the Big Ten battle. Maybe the one of the year. Madison coming up following our game. We're a minute away from ending this one. Beverly will send Torian Green to the free throw line.
I go back to what Orlando Tucker for Wisconsin told me back in September at a Wisconsin football game when I asked him about Ohio State, and everyone says, just give them the Big Ten trophy. He said, whoa, hold up now. You got to wait till January the 9th until we start talking about that. It's January the 9th, and that game's getting ready to come up in about 53 seconds.
Torian Green has actually missed a free throw tonight. He doesn't miss many. He caught that one in. So he's on his average right now. Neither team has shot free throws particularly well tonight. Rips the second one. 15 for Green. 9-point lead. 50 seconds left. Irvin, nice crossover dribble, trying to take Green to the rack, and does. Nice shot by Gary Irvin. And a timeout taken by Arkansas. 44.9 remaining here. 74-67. 7-point Gator lead. Let's check in with Reese Davis in the studio. Reese.
All right, Brad, Jimmy, I was wondering, either of you guys know who that fella is with Greg Oden? That's when you know you are a superstar. Dick Vitale, Greg Oden getting set. Ohio State and Wisconsin coming up in just a few minutes.
I can just hear what Dick's telling him. I'm telling you, Greg, you look as old as me. Greg Oden is not going to turn 19 until January 22nd. You could see that if he was bald, he'd look almost as old as Dick Vitale.
Greg Oden's going to make a lot of money in the NBA, in my opinion. So is this guy, Corey Brewer. Just everything he does, the quick hands like a guard, but he's 6'9", the long, length defensive plays that he makes, and he loves to defend. That's another unique quality about this guy. He absolutely loves to make plays like that and then be the facilitator and also finish acrobatically around the rim. And I've said it a handful of times in this ball game, not many teams have a guy that good with that size at that position.
And you take a look at some of the guys you mentioned earlier.
They're all really good players, and these are teams, Carolina, UCLA, Wisconsin, Kansas, that are Final Four built. Yes, Alondo Tucker is averaging 20 points a game to Corey Brewer's 13. It's everything else that I consider that Terry and Ship and Tucker and Rush can or can't do is why I give Corey Brewer in Florida the advantage in that position.
Those guys that Jimmy had up there are teams that he feels are capable of making the Final Four and some of the stars that they have. But Corey certainly has been one of the stars tonight, even though statistically you open up the paper tomorrow morning, you go, well, big deal. But when you watch him play, he affects the game on both ends. Irvin's going to pick up the foul, and Santorian Green back to the free throw line.
Arkansas foul is on 0. Gary Irvin.
Torian Green, a Naismith candidate. Actually, most of the team is for Florida, either Naismith or Wooden candidates or both, including Brewer and Noah and Horford. Leading the team in scoring, 15 so far tonight. Last year he was an 89% free throw shooter, and tonight he's had a couple rattle out on him.
The Brad Billy squad once again is built for a run to the Final Four. They have all the pieces. I know he's trying to develop his bench with guys like Warner and Mitchell and Richard and Hodge. But again, the biggest part for Billy Donovan is what he's done with the attitude towards his kids. Said it in the first half. Last night he told me not one time has he thought that a kid has brought to him the message of, hey, Coach, I did you a favor by coming back. And that is not easy to do with the type of talent and what they accomplished last year.
There's their banner as the national champions of a year ago. And out at Griffin Stadium, they'll have one, I'm sure, that's going to be that big. For the football team, the Swamp is the place to be, as everybody's been saying around here really all year about the basketball team. It's great to be a Florida Gator. Now you add the football program to it. If you go to school here, you can brag pretty much about everything, except maybe your grades. I don't know.
Well, and I tell you the other thing, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. Florida wins it again in basketball this year, and Florida football could be back in that championship game against next year.
You never know. Coach Meyer brought out some of his seniors, but he, of course, loses Chris Leak, who's, we understand, on the way to the Jay Leno show, but brought out Tim Tebow and some of the guys that were sensational freshmen.
Sonny Weems.
Weems, a nice drive. And a quick foul, 6-point game, 24 seconds left. That's going to do it for Thomas as well.
Brad, just a simple, high IQ play, though, out of Florida. Billy Donovan talked with me at length yesterday about how smart his kids are, just like that time. Arkansas scores, cuts it to 75-69, but what do? They grab it out of the net, boom, and throw it in to Torian Green, their best free throw shooter. Something small, something very important in a close ball game.
So two of the Razorback starters have fouled out. Thomas and Hill, two big guys, only 24 seconds remaining. But still, the free throws are very important.
What Arkansas couldn't afford to do was to come into the O-Dome tonight and get blasted and lose all that confidence and momentum that they gained from the Alabama win over the weekend.
That's not going to happen regardless of what happens.
No, sirree.
Torian Green keeps adding to his total from the stripe. He's had 2 of his best games in the 2 losses they've had this year. Had a season-high 25 against Kansas and had 21 in the loss to Florida State. Final 20 seconds, kind of the story of the night. Steal by Noah. Either Noah or Brewer's been involved in most of those, and then a foul by Arkansas. And we're down to the final 17 seconds.
Arkansas foul is on number 33, Vincent Hunter.
So Florida is going to win its 8th straight ball game, barring some kind of major occurrence here by the Razorbacks, and they'll go to 15-2, and they'll go to 2-0 in the conference, and that'll be the 6th straight year that they have started 2-0 at least in SEC play. It's always good to get a leg up. You don't want to come out and drop those first couple of games. That puts you behind the 8 ball, and that's the situation we find ourselves in tomorrow night when we see 11th-ranked Duke at Georgia Tech, both coming off gut-wrenching losses as Duke lost to Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech lost by 1 to Clemson. So that'll mean that much more in that battle tomorrow night in Atlanta. Hope you join Jimmy and I for that one. Long 3. Wow. Stephen Welsh buries one. And 5-point game, but only 5 seconds left. They could have used that a long time ago.
Just got to get it in, and there's exactly what Brewer does. Again, just the versatility of a 6'9" guy that can shake his defender and just go get himself open when you have to close the deal.
So Corey Brewer is going to go to the free throw line. 11 points tonight. That doesn't really tell the story. He's got 916 points for his career. There's a possibility that as they get a little deeper into the season, all 5 of Florida's starters could be 1,000-point-plus scorers, which you just don't find that very often. But again, it shows you that they share the basketball, and they have as they've played together for the better part of 3 years already.
Billy Donovan told his kids this afternoon about 2:30, learn the lesson from our football team last night. Florida football was the more aggressive team for 4 quarters, and that's why we won. Don't let Arkansas out-effort you tonight. I think the effort was pretty even by both ball clubs.
It was. Irvin misses a 3 at the buzzer, 79-72. As the Gators go to 15-2, the Razorbacks will fall to 12-4. That's going to wrap up the matchup from the O-Dome. For Jimmy Dykes, Heather Cox, Brad Nessler saying so long. Let's send it to Madtown. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale and the gang. Guys.
And Brad here at the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin. Welcome to continuing coverage of Super Tuesday presented by Lexus. We've got an early conference battle, an early Big Ten battle for conference supremacy between 2 top 5 teams. Number 4, Wisconsin. Number 5, Ohio State. As far as the regular season goes, Dick, it doesn't get much bigger than this.
Absolutely a big one. We talk about in the Big Ten right now, you got to protect your home court. Wisconsin 39-2 in Big Ten action under Bo Ryan, 89-5. You look at Ohio State coming off a humiliating victory where they humiliated Illinois at Illinois in Champaign, gave them the worst beating at home since 1976 when they were beaten 83-55 by Indiana.
As Dick mentioned, Wisconsin almost unbeatable here on its home court. They've only lost once this year, 15-1. Ohio State is 13-2. This is the first time in Badger history they've been in a game involving 2 top 5 teams. Ivan Harris a miss. Greg Oden the weak side rebound. Jamar Butler for 3. Another offensive rebound. Conley the kick. Harris gets another look. 3 misses in 1 trip for the Buckeyes.
Harris a good 3-point shooter. It's been a little bit up and down. Oden gives him that presence in the middle. A dominant force. He's worked 20 points without scoring a point by his presence in the lane.
Right now Oden is defending Chappell, not a perimeter player, so Oden can lay way off him, as you can see, to protect the basket.
See, he couldn't do that against Florida. That's why guys like Horford and Noah made him really pay.
A strip on the drive by Taylor, and back come the Buckeyes. They love to run. Butler from the wing. And they are one of the better 3-point shooting teams around, Dick.
You talk about an underrated player. Butler's a kid, doesn't get a lot of notoriety. He and Lewis are really stabilizers when you look at the Buckeyes. We were so impressed, you and I, when we had him against North Carolina. Even though the Tar Heels won that game, we saw him without Odom.
Butler, the primary point guard the last couple of years. Now with the addition of freshman Mike Conley, Butler, for the most part, slides to the 2.
Playing the zone right now, 2-3 zone.
And Cameron Taylor knocks down the 3.
Talk about a backcourt that's really solid, doesn't get a lot of notoriety. Taylor and Flowers. Flowers, a great defender.
Averaging about 2 steals per game. Conley, lefty, teammate for many, many years of Odom. They go back to the 6th grade with one another. Ball taken away by the Badgers. Pushing it all the way, switching hands is Flowers.
I like Flowers and I like Cameron Taylor. They don't get enough publicity, Mr. Showman. They'll get some tonight, baby.
I think you're right. The Grateful Red are into it early here in Madison.
They've been really alive here for the last hour and a half.
The entire season sold out for the 4th year in a row. Harris, that is his specialty.
And that's what he does exceptionally well. Step out to the perimeter. He stretches the defense. To show you the value of a kid like Odom, he scored only 7 points against Illinois, but Illinois shot 24%.
Yep.
Why? Because of the presence defensively in the middle. I think he's the coming of another Patrick Ewing.
And now Jim Burr, one of the officials in the game, has called a halt to the proceedings, and he's over with something to say to Wisconsin coach Bo Ryan. There are the starting lineups for you. A young Ohio State team. There's some experience in the starting lineup, but there are 2 freshmen and 2 more will come off the bench for Wisconsin. How big a rarity is this at the highest level of college basketball? All 5 of their starters are juniors or seniors.
Well, an experienced basketball team. Last year they were really playing well, and then at the mid-season mark, lost a couple of players academically and really created a problem. In fact, they lost 5. They only won 5 games in their last 15.
Well, whatever the issue was, the coaches have been given their explanations, and we'll get back to basketball. A 6-5 lead for Ohio State. The Buckeyes' biggest concern coming into this game was how to defend Orlando Tucker. He had a monster game against Ohio State and a Wisconsin win in this building last year.
They split last year, went back, and they play again this year, February 25th, down there in Buckeye Land.
Tucker from the corner. Misses the 3. He can be streaky from the perimeter.
Yeah, he's a very streaky shooter, but he's improved his stats from the three-point line this year.
Boy, Ohio State taking a ton of threes here in the early going.
Yeah, you would think they'd wait and get a little more patience and get the ball some touches inside to Odom. As the defense rotates to him, he can kick it back out, inside, outside.
Buckeyes have taken 6 shots, Diggin. All of them have been threes. Butch had that huge game we were at against Pittsburgh last month, 27 and 11. Tucker from the baseline.
He's been absolutely sensational all year. In the big game we had against Pittsburgh, a very good Pitt team, he had 32 and was sensational. And Butch had 27. He had 27 in that game and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, he has had a habit the last couple of years of playing his best in Wisconsin's biggest games. Butler throws it out of bounds.
He also had 28 on the road against a good Marquette team. Struggling a little bit right now, Tom Green's club.
They've lost a couple in a row. There's the record for Wisconsin under Bo Ryan against ranked teams. This, even with the top 5 ranking now, and even with all the publicity you and others have been giving him, this is still, I think, an underappreciated program on a national scale.
Well, I think a lot of people, if you ask them who's the name of the coach of Wisconsin, they wouldn't know.
3 a little bit short from Flowers, and that'll turn it back over to the Buckeyes. We'll step aside for the first time tonight on what figures to be a terrific game here in Madison.
The Australian Open. Coverage begins Sunday at 7 on ESPN2.
First 8-speed automatic transmission. The new LS. Unprecedented.
You're gonna keep your mouth shut.
You've got guns here.
Don't give me what I tell you.
Better watch your step.
He ain't coming back. You think I don't know it was you? You got 24 hours.
Are you in the mafia?
There's no mafia.
Meet the
the dollar mentionaires. From vintage pleather to McDonald's double cheeseburgers, these folks are all about the Washingtons. Looks like Rachel here has this season's it accessory. No wonder she rolls with such a handsome entourage.
These people live like money grows on trees. Trees they can't find.
But they have no trouble finding luxurious meals on the dollar menu. Now I buy that for $1.
You're gonna keep your mouth shut.
I've got guns here.
Don't give me what I tell you.
Better watch your step.
He ain't coming back. You think I don't know it was you? You got 24 hours.
Are you in the mafia?
There's no mafia.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Lexus and their passionate pursuit of perfection. And in part by Aleve. Share your good news at AleveGoodNews.com.
Back here in Madison, a 1-point lead early for the Badgers. A building that is just full of red here tonight with one conspicuous exception. And that's our own Florida grad, Aaron Andrews. Congratulations, Aaron.
You got to be festive. Bring out some color tonight, guys. Greg Oden's wrist completely healed. Continues to wear a brace during the game, but he hasn't worn one in practice for 2 weeks. Now let's go over the evolution of his brace that he wears during the game. He's been wearing something like this since he returned to Ohio State. This rubber compound protecting his wrist and kind of up towards the back of his wrist. It would also protect his palm. Now tonight, for the first time, he gets rid of the one with the hand, and it's just going to protect his wrist. This is so he doesn't smack it up against the rim every time he jumps up. Now, he told me tonight he still doesn't have a full follow-through with that right wrist, which is why he continues to shoot left-handed. But just imagine when he can, guys.
I'll tell you one thing. You have every right to celebrate, Aaron, with that orange on. They were brilliant last night. Congratulations to the Gators winning that national title.
How about the Gators holding the crown in both major sports, basketball and football? Another win for Billy Donovan's team over Arkansas just in front of us.
You know, I got on some people today. They came over, they were Buckeye fans, and they said, oh, we were horrible. We didn't play well. I'm really so disappointed. I said, wait a minute. They lost one game all year. Jim Tressel and his kids really had a great season, but ran into a team that was motivated and inspired last night.
Cameron Taylor at the line for the Badgers. One of the real strengths of this Wisconsin team, Dick, as you well know, they don't foul very much, and they draw a ton of fouls. They have been to the free throw line about 200 more times than their opponents this year.
Well, they have made 59 more than their opponents have shot. Yeah. I mean, that's because they slash, they post up, but there's a big differential in terms of the numbers they shoot at home versus on the road. And we were told that in a nice, quiet way by some of the coaches of Ohio State.
Yes, the visiting coaches. But that's as old as the game itself. Othello Hunter, who has been terrific the last 3 games for the Buckeyes, junior college transfer, off the bench, off the glass, and in.
Well, you know, had a bad game against Florida. Thad Martin really challenged them. He said, hey, you put out some numbers against mid-majors. We have to see it against the big guys. And he has responded in a very positive way.
He'll both back up Greg Oden and, as is the case right now, play alongside Oden in the front court. Taylor knocks down a 3.
If you're going to beat Ohio State, you must make threes. That's number one. You have to make some threes or you have no shot. Illinois couldn't make a 3, and they got a pretty good basketball team. I mean, they've got beat 62-44. Bruce Weber's kids are well coached. That shows you the strength of this Buckeye team.
Cameron Taylor with 8 early points for the Badgers, who are up 4. Oden not getting a lot of touches, Dick.
I was just going to beat him to the punch. I would try to get some angles and some touches, but he's got to be a little bit more aggressive offensively and want the ball.
Butler drops in the 3. Jamar Butler and makes it a 1-point game.
I really like their backcourt with Butler and Conley. They both can play the point. They both handle well. They can shoot it. Conley's excellent in transition, averaging 6 assists a game.
Leading the Big Ten and on pace to shatter the Ohio State record for assists, not by a freshman, but by anybody.
He's like a 3-to-1 ratio in terms of assists to turnovers.
Chappell misses the elbow jumper, and the rebound comes down to Daquan Cook, another freshman, and he's their leading scorer. A terrific block by a terrific defender in Flowers. Cook goes right back at him and misses.
Cook, one of those guys, comes off the bench, gives you instant energy, instant point production. Terrific player at Dunbar High School, Dayton, Ohio. There's the block shot. You know what? what? He came right back and he shot it again. He's a scorer. He's got a scorer's mentality.
Only playing 23 minutes per game, yet he leads them in scoring at better than 15 points per game.
He was co-MVP of the Round Ball Classic along with Greg Oden, Sonny Vacara's game. That gives opportunities to a lot of other kids that maybe don't get the great notoriety.
Couple of subs into the game for Wisconsin. Number 34, Greg Steemsma. Number 45, Joe Krabenhoft. With Steemsma, Butch, and Chappell, there's a lot of size out there to try to get in Oden's way.
They're using that zone and keeping that big Oden in that 3-second area, so we're not going to allow anything in the middle. Plus, they want to take away the execution of their half-court offense because they execute so well, Wisconsin, against man-to-man.
Flowers drives and draws the foul. Hey, a couple of big games for you tomorrow night at 7 Eastern here on ESPN. ACC Wednesday, presented by Staples, Duke at Georgia Tech. And then how about this one tomorrow night over on ESPN2, a top 10 battle between Oklahoma State and Kansas. 7 of the top 10 teams in the country will be on the ESPN family of networks this week.
Tell you, talking about some diaper dandies you watch Crittenden and Thaddeus Young. Paul Hewitt's got a nice class. Had a tough break losing Lewis Clinch. Losing Clinch at third leading scorer is a big loss.
Steemsma called for the foul, his first.
Last year he sat out the second half, some depression problems. Steemsma.
They had some academic issues as well. Maybe one led to the other, but he's in a much better frame of mind and a nice contributor off the bench, and he's putting his big body on Oden. And Steemsma just called for the foul. Tom O'Neill says he was using that arm in the back of Oden, and that's the second on Steemsma.
Ball entered down to the post. See, there's the little push. They caught him with that push, trying to bump him off the spot. That Mata was giving us a little bit of a lecture today,
yes, he was.
saying, hey, he can't play 34 minutes and go to the line 2 times. He said, no way. People pushing. Big guys have a tendency to really get pushed a little bit more than most.
Right now, Oden is being defended by Landry, who came into the game, and Oden just got called for the offensive foul, using that arm to try to swing around Landry.
Take a look at Odom on the inside now. Now he's going to try to use the swim stroke, and they caught him. Jimmy Burr right there with the good look. Not going to allow him in that post to use that free arm to hook him. Can't hook him down inside.
Dick Oden got all excited because Landry's only 6'7". Steemsma and Butch and Chappell are all on the bench right now. This is as small a lineup as Wisconsin ever puts on the floor.
Yeah, the Buckeyes got to take advantage and try and get some entries inside.
Oden has gone to the bench right now. Matt Terwilliger is checked into the middle for the Buckeyes.
Terwilliger's a very impressive player.
Taylor already got a couple of threes tonight. Skying for the rebound, Daquan Cook.
I'm surprised you're seeing so much zone right now by the Buckeyes.
Lighty misses the 3. Rebound Tucker.
Tucker can score in bunches. He can be quiet for 5-6 minutes, and then all of a sudden, very explosive. You talk about the National Player of the Year. He's got to be factored right in there with Big Baby Davis and also Fazekas down at Nevada.
Fazekas rolling his ankle last night, right?
Yeah, he's going to miss one game. They expect him back for the trip to Hawaii.
Hunter inside. He's swarmed and loses it, but the Buckeyes get it back. Butler's feeling it early here tonight. Ohio State just taking a ton of threes in the early going. 9 of their 13 shots are threes.
I don't see enough patience right now on the offensive side. You got to get a few more touches.
Cook misses the 3. A timeout on the floor here in Madison. A huge game of the Big Ten between Wisconsin and Ohio State, and we've got a 1-point game early.
Gravity will propel this Lexus IS over 4,000 feet in a matter of seconds. This Lexus IS will attempt to cover the same distance even faster. The 306 horsepower Lexus IS 350. So much for gravity.
When my brother started selling auto insurance, I got a little pressure to use them.
A little? I'm State Farm Agent Amy Kaplan, and this is a true story. I didn't pressure you. I think blood is thicker than water.
So with some of the staff, we switched from State Farm to him.
The service was horrible.
Well, he wouldn't call me back, and he's my brother.
So I called him, and he was ready to switch back. State Farm treated us like family.
Yeah, better.
Great service. service and great rates, it's all here. Nobody takes care of you like State Farm. Call an agent today.
Like a good neighbor?
State Farm is there.
Buddy Israel.
Don't form a witness against the mob has been as crucial as Buddy
Aces
Israel. $1 million hit fee would draw some huge flies.
You're gonna pour boxes of bullets in Israel. What are you trying to say?
Smokin' Aces, rated R, starts January 26th.
It's one of the things that makes college basketball so unique, and it's called Student Spirit Week. We'll take us to some of the great venues across the country, Dick, like Pittsburgh, Duke, Kansas, Oklahoma State, where you see some of the great fan bases in the nation. And Wisconsin up here in Madison, they don't take a back seat to anybody. The Grateful Red, they have become one of the best student sections in America. And why not the way that Bo Ryan has delivered such consistent winning here in his 6 years. Hunter with a rebound, but he lost it out of bounds.
84-5 overall at home, 39-2 in the Big Ten. That just blows my mind.
Yep.
Think about this guy. He won 4 Divisional III titles at Wisconsin Platteville, then went to the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee before the Badgers made the call. He has paid his dues, baby, up that ladder to get where he's at today.
Interviewed a couple of times for this job when other people got it before he finally got it. Neither team has made a field goal in over 3 minutes until that left hand for Marcus Landry, the sophomore out of Milwaukee.
Nice play getting the ball into the post area to Landry down on the interior. He rotated well, went to the basket.
Conley, a great penetrator, misses the floater. And the loose ball comes down to Ohio State.
See, I think the Buckeyes are shooting the ball too quickly. I don't see enough ball movement.
They've missed their last 7 shots, Dick. Conley draws the foul. He is a much better driver than he is a shooter. He's always looking to get into the lane.
He's excellent in transition. That North Carolina game was special, watching them go up and down the floor as Odin comes back on the floor.
First on Krabenhoft. Hunter and Terwilliger will sit down. How much does it help Conley and Odin, even though they're at another level now? They've been playing together since the 6th grade.
Well, familiarity always helps. There's no question.
Tough shot there for Cook.
They understand one another. He's going to take some tough shots, but he's going to make his share. He's a made scorer. He has that scorer's ability.
Trayvon Hughes, number 3 into the game of the backcourt now for the Badgers. Both teams will comfortably go 9 deep. That's Hughes with the long jumper. Offensive rebound, Krabenhoft. He's their best rebounder, averaging about 5 per game in limited minutes.
Sloppy play right here.
Flowers, loose ball, right to the rim.
Nice drive, taking it up strong. He's a real tenacious competitor. He and Taylor do not get enough notoriety, as I said earlier. They really play so well on that perimeter.
They have combined it for 12 of their 16 points tonight. Odin in deep, too strong, but he's fouled. As we check in with the Reese Davis now for a SportsCenter 30 at 30.
All right, Dan, Baseball Hall of Fame, a couple of legends going in together. A couple guys spent their entire careers with one team. Cal Ripken Jr., 19-time All-Star. Tony Gwynn won 8 batting titles for the Padres, both elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Mark McGwire was not close. And Steve Kragthorpe is the new head football coach at Louisville, replacing Bobby Petrino, who went to the Falcons. SportsCenter coming up after the game. ESPN News always on your cable system.
Reese, thank you very much, and he's right. Mark McGwire not close, got only 23% of the vote.
You know, Reese does a great job as the quarterback on game day, but I can also say right here, I can't believe that Andre Dawson, Jim Rice, Blyleven, and Gossage aren't in the Hall of Fame. And Jim Cott, the Veterans Committee, should definitely put Jim Cott in. I mean, he's had a terrific career. Not only won a lot of games, 16 years, Golden Glove. I don't understand sometimes the people that vote what they expect.
A foul against Wisconsin. A bit of a moving screen. Pat Mata clapping his hands. He liked that call by Tim Higgins. That'll be the second on Marcus Landry. Chappell comes back in. Again, Wisconsin has 4 big guys who Bo Ryan figures to use at times against Greg Oden. 2 of them already have 2 fouls.
Mention the name Chappell. His dad was quite a player at Wake Forest, an All-American, played with Billy Packer. They went to the Final Four.
Oden with a jump hook, not there.
Using the right hand there as well. He's trying to get a little bit more flexibility.
And again, even at his healthiest, he's more of a force defensively than offensively, but that's compounded because he's still recovering from the wrist injury.
He's got such great timing on the defensive side.
And Butch travels.
Got to use that shot fake. Butch had a big game last year. Had 17 in the win over the Buckeyes. They'll need some production out of him on the perimeter. Shooting that 3. He could shoot the 3.
Redshirt junior, a McDonald's All-American out of Appleton, Wisconsin. Had a huge game against Pittsburgh a month ago, as we mentioned, 27 and 11. Look at this drought for the Buckeyes. 5.5 minutes without a field goal.
Playing good man-to-man defense right here.
No double team, Dick.
Not trying to.
And Oden draws the foul. And a little contact after the fact between the big guys. Oden is a very competitive guy, but you talk to him, you sit down with him, boy, is he a gentle giant. Well, he's a well-mannered kid, huh?
He's a beautiful young guy. He really is. Very bright. And trying to take away the opportunity for him to dunk the basketball.
Butch didn't like.
They don't get him angry. I would not want to get him angry. So they're better off he's shooting free throws lefty.
I think it's incredibly impressive that by working on it for a few weeks, because he can't shoot them right-handed.
He made 9 for 10 the other day.
9 for 10 against Indiana, and 57%. It's not great, but for a big guy with his offhand,
that's amazing. I'll tell you this about Indiana. People better jump on him now because Kelvin Sampson's system, playing on the defensive side, just ask Michigan State. They're going to get better and better as the season progresses.
Michigan State 0-2, Illinois 0-2. First time in over 30 years those two teams have started Big Ten play 0-2. Conley, little push-off to create some space. Bo Ryan thought there should have been a call. Harris misses the jumper, and the rebound comes down to Hughes.
They're doing a great job keeping the ball away from Tucker.
Good position for Chappell. And he elects to fade away and still drops it home.
He's going to get some open looks, Chappell. They don't respect his offensive ability. I'll tell you one thing, if his daddy was in there, they'd respect him. He was some kind of player.
Dick, the Buckeyes have now missed 10 consecutive shots.
Try 11. I think they're hurrying their shots. Offensively in their half-court game, young kids have a tendency. We saw that with Connecticut against LSU. Really didn't execute well in a 5-on-5 scenario.
Hughes looking for help, finds Tucker, who's been quiet in the early going. Just 2 points so far. 1 for 5 from the field.
They're not going to guard Chappell.
No.
He's going to get opportunities to shoot the ball.
How about that little spin move drawing the foul on Oden?
He knows right now he's going to get chances.
Number 2 on Greg Oden. They love it here in Madison.
Way back then, we had the horse and carriage.
There was no television then.
People listen to the radio.
Get the clothes out, wash them on the washboard.
And then the calculators got smaller and smaller.
45 would drop and it would play.
If you held the rabbit ears in exactly the right position.
I used to have to parallel park myself.
Monday.
Finishing. You can't stop.
Super Tuesday.
Up in the air. Oh, my goodness.
ACC Wednesday.
The Dukies are on fire.
Each night, all season long, the field of battle changes, but never the fight for domination. Conference supremacy, what separates the leaders from the pack. Big Monday, Super Tuesday, ACC Wednesday. All season long, beginning at 7 on ESPN.
I'd like to talk to you about something I think is the most important safety feature since the seatbelt. Now, in certain conditions like rain or snow or emergency turns, your car can lose its direction, and that can get ugly. But Toyota has a system that distributes power or brake in the blink of an eye and keeps you going in the direction you want to go. It's called Vehicle Stability Control, and it's standard equipment on every Toyota SUV.
Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
reason to get up extra early. 1 Egg McMuffin, made just the way you like it. Times 2 for just $3. Ooh, daddy.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. Notre Dame and West Virginia at the end. Rob Kurz misses a free throw, so West Virginia has a chance down 3. Frank Young doesn't get the shot off. This had been last year. That shot goes in, and West Virginia would have drop-kicked the bucket in for overtime.
Reese, you're exactly right. And Mike Bray was the king of the heartbreak loss a year ago. The Irish bouncing back from a loss to Georgetown over the weekend. We'll see the Hoyas Saturday night up in Pittsburgh along with Reese and the rest of the game day crew. Meanwhile, Greg Odendick sits down with 2 fouls.
Yeah, he gets 2 fouls. You know, you talk about the Hoyas. They got beat by Villanova at home, had a 7-game win streak, and they played brilliantly to beat Notre Dame and ended a 12-game winning streak.
Chappell at the line. It was his assertive move that sent Oden to the bench with his 2nd foul. Ohio State is used to playing without Oden. They played the first 7 games of the season without Oden. They actually scored a lot more without Oden than since he has come into the lineup.
Wait a minute. Time out. T.O., baby. Who did they play? Come on now. Some cupcakes up there. They didn't play the caliber they're playing now.
You're right.
Thank you. I love
now you feel good?
Stats really early in the season
they can be skewed.
Really so misleading.
A long drought here for the Buckeyes. They're shooting only 20% tonight, taking tough shots like that. And we get a foul, I think, going against Brian Bush. Let's go to Aaron Anders. Aaron?
Well, Dan, in practice today, I spoke with several Buckeye players about that game versus the University of Florida on December 23rd. Mike Conley Jr. told me the crowd and the emotion there at the O'Connell Center really took them out of that game, and that is something that Thad Matta focused on with his team today. He said, you know, the Kohl Center and the Grateful Red, the fans are going to be crazy, and you have to learn how to block out the atmosphere. The players thought they could do that early in this game, Dan.
Well, you know, Florida has the Rowdy Reptiles, Aaron, and they really get after it big time, especially with the kind of team that they have to support. You got Noah and Horford. That doesn't hurt either.
Well, look at the top 3 teams in the poll right now. North Carolina, Florida, and Wisconsin in the coaches poll. Ohio State has played all 3 on the road already this season.
They got a tough game coming up their next game at home with Tennessee.
Butch in some traffic inside. The crowd wanted a foul, didn't get it. It remains Wisconsin basketball.
They're going to have a great year. There's no doubt. When you look at the talent they possess, not shooting the ball well here. You look at the stats right now, shoot 19% and you're only down 4. I mean, that's not bad when you look at that.
Taylor tries to scoop it up and in, and now we got a foul, says Tom O'Neill. Cook picks up the foul, his 2nd, team's 6th.
Teams are only shooting against Thad Matta's club under 40%, 39%. You always have a chance to win when you can keep teams under those kind of numbers.
Taylor, the high score in this game, Dick, 8 early points. A low-scoring game right now as Taylor knocks down the first. Now Cook is going to have to sit down as Ron Lewis comes back in.
You know, Taylor was an outstanding tennis player. He was a #1 singles player. He was also an outstanding receiver in high school out of Minnesota.
Makes them both double figures already for Taylor with 10, averaging about 12.5 per game. Ohio State, meanwhile, 8.5 minutes without a field goal. They've missed their last 12.
Psychologically, this game is more important, I think, to Wisconsin as Harris shows that range as a shooter. It's much more important. You got to protect your home court. It's like holding serve.
Yep.
McEnroe against Connors years ago, way before your time. If McEnroe's serving, he better hold serve.
As you mentioned, Wisconsin will be down in Columbus in late February. Do you think these 2 teams are head and shoulders above anybody else in this league?
Yeah, I really do. I think they're much better than the other clubs. I think when you rate them and evaluate them on a neutral floor, there's definitely a difference.
A very experienced Wisconsin team. Nice
backdoor cut.
Chappell to Flowers.
Great little bounce pass. Chappell being very effective in his own quiet way. Flowers and Taylor understand how to play, have great basketball IQs.
They have 16 of Wisconsin's 23. Open look, Harris, and he misses one right after making it. Didn't get rim. Conley the miss. And Hunter, we got a held ball situation between Hunter and Butch, and the arrow sends it back to the Badgers.
We're going to take a look right now at a little backdoor cut. Watch Chappell with the excellent pass. We're going to see the cut down the lane. He's going to spot right there. Sees the opening. See if Mr. Odin's there. You're not going down that lane. He has a rule, a commandment. Thou shalt not enter thy lane.
Well, Odin is not in thy lane right now because of the 2 fouls. He sat down about 2.5 minutes ago. Don't know if we'll see him again for the rest of the first half.
You know, we mentioned the Buckeyes in football losing that championship last night. But what about a salute to the Badgers? They had a terrific year.
Yep. Taylor. Passing up a shot was Kevin Gullickson, who just checked into the game. Missing the jam was Tucker, who's looking around wondering about a foul call.
Yeah, he couldn't believe it right there. He had an open jam. He's such an explosive leaper.
What a nice drive by Lewis, and he is fouled. Now we'll take it up to the NBA tomorrow night here on ESPN. It's Allen Iverson of the Nuggets taking on Tim Duncan of the Spurs. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Boy, we got a lot of officials in the house here tonight.
Personality-wise, you mentioned Tim Duncan. I see a lot of that in Greg Oden. As I look at Michael Redd, you talk about a guy that can stroke it. He had 30 against the Badgers in a big game, and Jim O'Brien was quoted that day after they won here. He said, hey, they just could not guard Mr. Redd.
Out
and
with
you know
an
what?
Injury right now.
Yeah, not too many in the NBA can guard him either.
Tucker, nice cut. Got the feed from Krabenhoff, and Tucker will shoot a couple. A mock cheer here from the crowd in Madison after a call against the Buckeyes.
Tucker really has struggled on the free throw line through his career, even though he's a lot better this year. 55% last year, up to 68%. Hey, the game I mentioned about Red, that was in 1999, 78-74. They won. They beat the Badgers, and he had 30.
Now look at the team ranks in the Big Ten. First and second in scoring. First and second in scoring margin. First and second in field goal percentage.
He's got 2 great columns. As you see him come up empty there with a little air ball. Had one by Mike Lucas talking about all the big matchups over the years between the Buckeyes and the Badgers. And another article by Tom Oates talking about how the defense has gotten so much better in the last 7 games when you look at the Badgers.
Away from the ball, we've got a call against Ohio State. It's on Hunter, and that's going to be his second. So both big guys, Hunter and Odin, each have 2. And that's going to send Hunter to the bench and bring Terwilliger back into the game and out for the Buckeyes.
Well, the Buckeyes haven't had any rhythm offensively at all. And that's really been because of the defensive effort by the kids from out of Wisconsin. They pride themselves on this floor. They believe this is their place, and you're not coming here and going to beat them. You have to play excellent basketball to beat them here.
Thad Matta talked to his team about a week and a half ago, Dick, and he said all that up and down 90-point-a-game stuff, he said that's over. Now it's time for the Big Ten. It's going to be physical, grinded-out basketball.
That's what I said earlier, Dan, about bargain basement goodies and all those cupcakes. That's history now as you get into league competition.
Taylor with the ball. He's had a big first half. Has made a couple of threes. 10 points overall. Shot clock is at 5. Tucker elevates above the defense and scores.
That's what he does really well. He hangs in the air. He's explosive. He's worked so hard on his range as a shooter. He has a program. His work ethic is so special, and he's a leader as well. Terrific intangibles in addition to all the ability. I hope he makes it big. Why? Because he wants to build an incredible rec center for all the kids out of Lockport, Illinois.
Harris with Krabenhoff right out on him, respecting his ability to shoot the ball. Terwilliger trying to back down Gullickson. And over the back goes Harris. Wave off the basket as Harris is called for the foul.
Tommy O'Neal waves it off. Oh, watch Mr. Tucker. He's a superstar. He's super scintillating, sensational.
What is with these people? I don't know, Duke boy.
College Game Day, driven by State Farm. This Saturday, 11 a.m. on ESPN2, 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Our engineers saw every square inch of the Sierra as an opportunity for another breakthrough. Introducing the more comfortable, more powerful, and the most fuel-efficient all-new 2007 GMC Sierra. We examined everything and overlooked nothing to create our greatest pickup yet. That's professional grade.
I really like this breakfast bistro sandwich.
Oh,
This bacon is great.
Well, you know, in Italy, bacon is called pancetta.
How do you know that?
As a guy, I pretty much know everything there is to know about bacon. It's encoded into our DNA at birth.
I have some things encoded on my DNA.
Oh, yeah?
Like I'm able to sense when you're just full of it.
Bacon Breakfast Bistro Sandwich. Only at Sonic. Bacon, eggs, and cheese on toasted ciabatta bread. Try one with the cranberry juice or any other juice because Sonic is your ultimate drink stop.
Phone. Okay, time to get organized.
We're gonna need a hand.
Let Office Depot help with everything from binders, file cabinets, and other organizational solutions to the latest tax preparation products and shredders. Office Depot comes in pretty handy. Click, call, or come by. Office Depot, taking care of business.
I'm Reese Davis. Coming up on the UPS Halftime Report, Glenn Davis has some banged up ribs. We'll see how he's faring in Tuscaloosa. Also check in on Clemson as the nation's only undefeated team tries to remain that way. We'll tell you who is Cooperstown bound and who's not. Baseball Hall of Fame class has been announced. Mark McGwire not part of it. We'll talk about that coming up at halftime. Jay and Digger join me, guys.
All right, Reese back here in Madison, a 5-point lead for the Badgers over the Buckeyes. This telecast also available on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. Hi, everybody. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale watching a Wisconsin team that has the highest ranking in the history of the program right now. Number 3 in one poll, number 4 in the other.
Well, you know, I think when you talk about great teams, it's all about shot selection and defensively playing excellent basketball. And that's what Wisconsin has done during the tenure of Bo Ryan, especially on their floor. The difference in this game has been the shot selection of Wisconsin versus the shot selection of these young kids from out of Ohio State.
Ohio State is shooting only 23%. Wisconsin is shooting 50%, yet if there's a positive, maybe Thad Amato's got to be pleased they're only down by 6.
Well, you know, Wisconsin's not really an explosive offensive team, even though we've seen them put some points on a board like they did against Pittsburgh. They went to the line 44 times in the Pittsburgh game.
You can see Ohio State struggled offensively but still beat Illinois. Even worse here tonight. This is Wisconsin's largest lead of the game. Again, Odin is on the bench with 2 fouls. Cook is on the bench with 2 fouls, and so is Hunter.
You know, every game has a segment that's really vital. This segment is really important in the last 3 minutes to Ohio State.
Conley, nice deal to Terwilliger. That is what Mike Conley Jr. does as well as any point guard, freshman or otherwise, in the nation.
Well, he's like ranked 4th in the nation now in assists. Does a great job passing the basketball, creating opportunities.
Always overshadowed by Odin because they always play together, but he's a McDonald's All-American and a future star in his own right. The cutter is Tucker. Again elevates, and there's a foul call, and Thad Amato's telling his players, don't move your body. Stand straight up with your hands straight up in the air.
Well, we're going to take a look at Michael Conley. Drive, draw, and dish. The 3D man. There he is. He dishes the rock to the open guy. I could have made that layup that Terwilliger made. I want to play with Conley. His dad's in the house, and we know about his dad. His dad, a triple jump Olympic gold medalist in 1992. In fact, he coached the AAU team in basketball. As you look at Mr. Conley, really a great guy, great father, really tremendous family.
Mike Jr. said he ran a little bit of track in high school, but he didn't like it as much as basketball. And Mike Conley Sr. played a little bit of basketball, played a year at Arkansas.
Yeah, he was a Razorback.
Boy, nice crossover. He's got all the moves. He's got a mismatch now on Butch, but he's not really a shooter, so Butch can lay off him.
He tried to force it. That was really a bad shot against a 6'11 guy who backed away from him, had no chance. He was trying to beat him on a drive. Butch played that really well.
Crowd wants Butch to shoot. He obliges, but misses the jump hook. Oh, great anticipation there by Flowers. You can see why he is averaging 2 steals per game. Nearly had that one just off his fingertips.
I think Butch was incredible the day we were here with Pittsburgh, 27-11.
Well, he's a guy, Dick, who has gotten so much criticism over the last few years, and you talked about it in the Pittsburgh game, had mononucleosis as a freshman. His mother was battling breast cancer. Fortunately, she is now in remission as Connolly lays it in. Nice feed from Butler.
Sometimes we don't realize in the media what some of the guys go through personally. He was driving his mom to chemotherapy. I mean, you're going to tell me how he could concentrate on basketball instead of tore his heart out because she was the staple of the family.
Tucker doesn't get the bounce. Conley sees some room, goes right at the big man, and Butch does not commit the foul as Conley twisted himself all the way around.
He tried to make an impossible shot. Maybe he thought degree of difficulty like swimming, he would have got 5 there. Or diving rather.
Yep. Butler commits the foul. Let's go to Aaron Andrews. Aaron?
Dan, just to add on what you and Dick were talking about with Brian Butch and the mononucleosis, his mother being ill, Alondo Tucker told me today he also dealt with the fact he felt he had to do everything that Mike Wilkinson did here. Of course, the great senior many people cheered for with the Badgers. He felt he had to emulate everything Mike did, act the way he did, play like he did, and once he found out he couldn't and he didn't need to, Alondo said it all started to come together for Brian.
Yeah, he really played well last year. I think a lot of times, too, Aaron, what happens, Appleton up there where he's played in Wisconsin, he's not facing the competition that kids have faced in the cities of Chicago and L.A. and sometimes get notoriety and publicity that's maybe a little higher than what they should receive.
Only 185 pounds as a freshman. He's 240 now. Terwilliger, foot on the line, misses the long 2, and the rebound comes down to Flowers. Flowers and Taylor have each had a terrific first half.
I think Ohio State right now, you're never satisfied, but the way they have played offensively to be 4 points down, I mean, is absolutely a miracle on a road.
Dick, they were 5 down at the 8-minute mark when Odin went to the bench with his second foul.
So they haven't really lost a great deal. So I know you got all those numbers. That's why you're the best.
I got Pat McGrath giving me all those numbers.
He's the best. He does a great job.
Now they got the ball back down 45 seconds to go in the first half. Harris, 1-point game.
He does that so well. And that 3-point shot will do wonders for you. It has revolutionized college basketball.
Ivan Harris, who missed all 6 of his threes in Ohio State's game over the weekend against Illinois, has made 3 of them already here tonight.
Well, the last 3 minutes, Conley has really stepped up his game. I said earlier he's 4th in the nation in assists. Number 1 is Jordan from out of Marist with 8.4. There's a look at Harris shooting the downtown 3. He's making like Michael Redd. Michael Redd's in the house. He said, I'm another Buckeye who can shoot with my left hand. Number 2, by the way, in assists is Mustafa Shakur of Arizona, 7.9. By the way, the Pac-10, to me, has really exceeded what people thought expectations. As you look at Odin and Tucker on Star Watch.
Odin in foul trouble, has not played in the last 8 minutes, and even when he was in there, as you said, they weren't looking for him. Maybe he wasn't working hard enough to get open, but he wasn't really a focal point of the offense at all.
Well, that's one area he's going to have to work so hard on. How to flash in the post, how to use single reverse, double reverse, how to get post position and be active. And I know that coaching staff's working with him. You know, he took the Pac-10. What about Oregon? You look at Washington State, coached by a former Badger.
Yep.
Tony Bennett, his dad Dick, who did a great job here. 2000, went to the Final Four. They're 14-2.
Shot clock and game clock basically dead even here down the stretch. It'll be Tucker.
Wow. He's so explosive. That's his game. Attack the rim. Go to the basket. Utilize either left or right hand. An explosive play by the PTPer, the primetime performer. Here's Mr. Tucker, a little one-on-one. He says, you can't check me, baby. No one-on-one. He's my choice midseason as player of the year.
Tucker with 7, Wisconsin by 3. Let's go to Aaron Andrews with Ohio State coach Thad Matta.
Thad, your team shooting 28% from the field. What is Wisconsin doing defensively?
Well, I mean, they're great position defense. We've missed some wide open looks, and hopefully second half we can knock them down. Foul trouble's killing us right now.
Greg Oden struggling in the first half versus Illinois, and then again tonight versus Wisconsin. What is going on with him?
No, Greg's fine. I mean, I think that we'll get him going in the second half. I mean, it's rough, it's physical down there. They're calling the fouls, which is good.
Thank you, Thad.
Thank you.
Lowest scoring first half of the season for the Buckeyes. They trail 31-28 at the break. Time now for the UPS halftime report. Let's join Reese Davis.
Okay, Dan, 28%, getting the Buckeyes 28 points. Only shot 35% Saturday in the victory over Illinois, but still hanging in there. And Jay Thadmata talked about it. Not a lot of touches inside for Greg Oden.
No, they're not being active inside. One of the things when you want to get the ball inside, your big guys have to be active and call for the ball. And that's been a problem for Greg Oden early in his career, one of the very few problems that he's had. He's not a real active player. When he doesn't get a block shot on one end to really change ends, he tends to stand around a little bit. And part of that might be because of his size. He's a little bit worried about getting fouls and being too aggressive, but he needs to get more aggressive. Same thing for Othello Hunter inside. He needs to get in there and post up as well to draw some defensive attention. They can throw the ball in there, kick it back out to open shooters. Then guys are stepping into their shots in rhythm, and then they won't shoot 28%. They'll get better looks.
But I think he's got to be happy, Thadmata, as you take a look at those two guys on the bench in foul trouble with Hunter and Odom. But the fact is this, you're down 3 at halftime, you're not shooting the ball well, you got to shoot the ball better, and I think more patience in the way they just attack the ball and don't take those bad shots will put them in a better position. This game's not over yet. You've got to be really happy if you're an Ohio State fan to be down 3 under the conditions you're watching.
Yeah, very difficult to win in Wisconsin, especially against Bo Ryan's team. 39-2 in Big Ten games under Bo Ryan. The only team to win there in Kohl Center among Big Ten opponents, Illinois. Ohio State will try to go for a big second half, see if they can do it. In the SEC, a game on ESPN2 right now. LSU and Alabama. The Bayou Bengals coming off impressive win over UConn. Alabama coming off a disaster against Arkansas. There's Big Baby, who was involved in a car wreck after the UConn game, wearing a protective vest to take care of the ribs, which are banged up a little bit. And in transition, Jay, Alonzo G.
Alonzo G had a terrific first half. 15 points. He went 4 of 6 from three-point range. What a stud.
As they say, it ain't nothing but a G thing.
And this one ain't over yet.
And drop it like it's hot.
When you think hip, you think Reese Davis and Digger Phelps. Alabama up by 9 at the half. We'll take it to Titletown, where they win all the trophies in Gainesville. The urban legends and urban reality. We'll also show you how the basketball team got a bit of a challenge, but the team that is still undefeated in the country, the Clemson Tigers, how they answered the bell on the road in the ACC, coming up.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade.
Over 5 tons of towing capacity, 2,010 pounds of payload. It seems in thinking ahead, our engineers left nothing behind. Introducing the more comfortable, more powerful, more capable, all-new 2007 GMC Sierra. We examined everything and overlooked nothing, then backed it with a GM 100,000-mile warranty. That's professional grade.
Whatever it is, you can get it on eBay.
Here you go, sweetie.
Chocolate pudding, please.
We don't have any.
What is with these people?
I don't know, Duke boy.
We're on campus. College Game Day, driven by State Farm. This Saturday, 11 a.m. on ESPN2, 8 p.m. on ESPN.
This halftime report is delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Florida and Arkansas, the Florida football team on hand telling the basketball team, we got one too, we got one too. National championship, but Arkansas tried to spoil the party. Patrick Beverly had 10. Gators just by 1 at the half. In the second half, Joakim Noah.
And Noah gets it done. The balance of Florida just gets after you. They get 5 guys in double figures, but they struggle. They didn't play with the intensity they've had in the past.
Noah couldn't dunk it, but Al Horford could. As Digger mentioned, all 5 starters in double figures. And Lee Humphrey, well, Lee Humphrey, he's a starter. Brad Nessler referred to this as the kill shots. 79-72. Gators beat Arkansas. Clemson and North Carolina State. Tigers, the only undefeated team in the country. Raymond Sykes. Well, Purnell's getting good play off his bench from a lot of different guys, Jay.
He is. Sykes and Casey Rivers. Clemson shot great in the second half, 62% to wind up shooting 55% for the game, and they shot very well from three-point range, 10 of 19.
James Mays on the follow there. Clemson up by 13. North Carolina State, Ben McCauley, good look up to Brandon Costner, who had 14. Wolfpack cut it to a half dozen, but then Rivers, as Jay mentioned, off the bench, 16 points for him. 87-76, Clemson is 17-0, and James Mays, you saw with the dunk earlier, he extends his personal winning streak to 28 straight. Clemson was undefeated last year when he was ruled academically ineligible. That's a couple of games on the schedule, next 5 for Clemson on ESPN HD, North Carolina and the Duke.
Go down this Saturday in Maryland. Gary Williams will have that team ready, and Clemson knows they're going to have their hands full. This could be the one where they go down.
Maryland does a lot of pressing, so they see it every day in practice.
And it's been a problem for Clemson's opponents. I think Digger came dangerously close to predicting the end of the undefeated run for Clemson there. Probably have to watch game day to find out for sure.
That one ain't over yet either.
Game day's not over yet. West Virginia and Notre Dame. Russell Carter on the business end. Irish had a bigger lead in this, up by double figures. Had to stretch it to 4 there after Carter then gets it back and goes baseline. Digger.
Russell Carter and Colin Falls tonight, 15 for 25. But West Virginia trying to get one more shot.
Frank Young, Jay. Frank, I tell you, Beeline loses the starters and still puts together a team who's unbeaten in the Big East until now.
Well, they understand how to play. Notre Dame didn't guard very well out of that. And Rob Kurz misses the front end of a 1-and-1, and Frank Young has a chance to tie the ball game. Doesn't quite get it off, and Notre Dame defended it very well to get a very solid victory.
Mike Bray's done his best coaching job since he's been at Notre Dame this season.
Also finally getting a break. That shot goes in, no question, last year when the Irish lost 8 by 3 points or less in a handful of double overtime games.
Goes in with a foul probably.
Probably lose the game. A&M and Baylor. A&M on the road in the top 10. About 2 minutes to go as Gillespie's team up by 7 and trying to finish off the Bears. And Air Force has won 24 in a row at home.
Whoops.
That's the third best streak in the nation, or third longest streak. Early in the second half, Lobos up by 15.
New Mexico shot 70% in that first half, and remember, they're playing without J.R. Giddens. Their shot selection much improved.
Air Force 15-1 in the early going of the season. When we come back on the UPS halftime report, guys who are Cooperstown bound, a couple that you knew would get there, the first opportunity they had. But what about Mark McGuire? And what about Burt Blylefer?
All right, international shipping. So you need to bring your products from China to the U.S. And you like the reliability of those big brown trucks. The problem is, trucks don't float. But what if that big brown truck were a big brown plane? UPS has one of the world's largest airlines. There. Now we'll get over here in a hurry. Early in the morning if you want. It's not international shipping. It's international shipping with UPS.
We spent over 30,000 engineering hours completely redesigning the new Sierra from the inside out. Introducing the more comfortable, more powerful, and the most fuel-efficient all-new 2007 GMC Sierra. We examined everything and overlooked nothing. That's professional grade.
It's time to feel free with new Chase Freedom. Feel free to choose points for rewards like travel.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or feel free to choose cash back.
I'm free.
Then feel free to change back again.
In the old time.
Without losing a thing. That's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
We've all seen them. The makeup artist. The dedicated investor. Mr. Change Your Pants while driving. Multitasking doubles your risk of an accident. Do it a little less, and now Allstate will give you a bonus. Cash off your renewal bill for every 6 months you don't have an accident. Part of Your Choice Auto, only from Allstate. It's time to make the world a better place to drive. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
This
halftime report is delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Jay, here's something that is open. The voting for Cooperstown and Cal Ripken Jr. is going to the Baseball Hall of Fame. 19-time All-Star, played 1,632 games or consecutive games. And look at Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn going to the Hall of Fame as well. 15-time All-Star, won 8 National League batting titles, had over 3,000 hits in his career. Needs 75% of the vote to get into the Hall of Fame. Mark McGwire got less than 25% of the vote. Peter Gammons on what that means for McGwire's chances to get to Cooperstown later.
This year's Hall of Fame vote indicates it's going to be very difficult for Mark McGwire to ever make it to Cooperstown. Now, if we find out in the next couple of years that 1,000, 1,500, 1,800 players did in fact use performance-enhancing drugs, McGwire may be viewed as one of the great home run hitters of that period, and therefore he'll make it. But if that doesn't happen, it's going to be very difficult because we have learned that people have a very strong opinion about cheating and the use of steroids in the game.
Much more on that story coming up on SportsCenter after the game. Another score, Boston College. Boston College started a little shaky this season. They seem to have found themselves, and Wake really struggling, down 17 at home.
Very young Wake Forest team. Skip Prosser knows that. They'll get it going. But Boston College needs some wins, especially on the road.
Boston College shooting 55% in the first half and dropping 52 on the Demon Deacons in the first 20 minutes. First 20 minutes, tight for Wisconsin, Ohio State. Cameron Taylor had 11. Badgers up by 3.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Dodge Ram, the longest lasting, most durable line of full-size pickups.
Yeah, okay, it's official. Let's go. Back the rock, yeah, past the block, you have the shot. Crowd feel the aftershock. If life is a sport, then life on the court is sorta like a marriage. We committed, cause quitting is like a divorce. Your average just ain't good enough. We bring the A in. Better check the numbers, see what we putting up. Watch us take it to the rim, take a shot, make it dance. It's the Big Ten. This is where we play to win. Big Ten. Welcome to the big stage.
Oh, hey, honey. How was your day?
Oh, with Time Warner Cable, you can get more than a lot of channels.
He's hugging the remote!
Don't hug the remote. You can get Roadrunner high-speed online.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic.
That's exactly why.
Plus unlimited calling.
What?
All on one bill, all with one call. Word will get around.
Honey, what's happening here?
They're kids. They're watching TV.
We don't have kids.
Save hundreds with Time Warner Cable's All the Best package. Call 1-866-321-CABLE.
Breathe out, restless, waiting for anything. So come on now. Let's go, let's jump right in, screaming to the wind, feel the fire within. I can't ignore this burning in my soul. Come on, baby, let's go.
There's a car company for people like that. Ford. Bold moves.
Back at the Kohl Kohl Center here in Madison. It's Super Tuesday presented by Lexus. The top two teams, or at least the teams everybody considers to be the top two teams in the Big Ten, are going at it here tonight. Top 5 matchup, Ohio State and Wisconsin. The Badgers lead by 3 in a first half, Dick, where candidly both teams, especially the Buckeyes, really did not play their best offensively.
Well, they shot 28%. I thought they hurried their shots. I thought their shot selection was suspect, but they also got some big threes out of Harris. On the other side, you look at Wisconsin, certainly Tucker has not been sensational. Take a look at right here. We're going to see the kick out. There's Harris with the 3, and his threes really kept them within range. There's another big 3 late in the first half. On the other side, it wasn't the Tucker show. Cameron Taylor really elevated his game. There he is making a long 3. He and Flowers play so well together. They have a great understanding of the game, and there he is draining another perimeter shot.
Just 28%, as Dick mentioned, from the field for Ohio State. The threes kept them in the game. They also had 9 offensive rebounds to just 1 for the Badgers. Greg Oden, not much of a factor in the first half, just 2 points, both of them free throws, played 10 minutes, had some foul trouble.
Well, he was 0 for 1. I really love the kid, and his potential is so high. But he has to really learn how to flash post inside and be a lot more aggressive offensively and want the ball. He's so tough. But let us be real about it. The kid is coming off that injury that set him back big time.
A partially torn ligament in Oden's wrist in March. He continued to play. Doctors at the time when he was in high school said it could heal or it could fully tear. It tore fully. That's why he didn't have surgery until June. That's why he only came back in December.
I know a lot of people are not going to believe me, but I really believe that this kid could say no to the NBA and come back to college.
I agree.
He loves being with his teammates. He really loves the college environment. He's a beautiful guy. I see a lot of similarities in Tim Duncan and him, not as players, but as people.
Butch with a miss inside, a loose ball to the Buckeyes. Open on the wing, Lewis.
And that's what they got to get out of him. He was 1 for 5. He did not give them the kind of ability that they expect. They're going to a little full court pressure now, trying to really just take the rhythm of the game. That Motto did a great job at Butler and at Xavier.
1 year at Butler, 3 at Xavier, took them to an Elite 8. This is his 3rd year in Columbus. He's got a great recruiting class coming in next year as well.
You know, you mentioned Butler. Todd Licklider, along with John Beeline, were my midseason coach of the years.
There's what Oden does best. Blocks the shot. Butch the miss. Long rebound to Ohio State. And if it's Butch, yeah, it is. He just reached in and he knows he made a mistake as we go to Aaron.
Mentioning Greg Oden and his wrist, Dan, you talk about him shooting with that left hand. He's normally a right-handed guy. This is what assistant coach Alan Major made him do every single day in practice after that surgery in July. He made him shoot 400 to 500 shots a day with that left hand, so he would be comfortable when he came back. Greg Oden said he had never even imagined in his life he would become a left-handed shooter. That's why Thad Matta is so excited when he will get the range back in his right hand, because he'll be able to use both of them.
I'll tell you, Aaron, he should be like you, ambidextrous. I saw you do your little dance routine that you did with the Gators the other day, and I know you're still celebrating. Hey, I'll tell this for all the Buckeye fans out there a little bit frustrated after last night. They got a great leader in Jim Tressel. That football program has a great tradition, and they will be back again in the hunt.
12-1 playing for the national championship ain't all that bad.
Exactly. I'll tell you why he's a great guy, too. He comes to the Broken Egg and I'm in Florida. He has a home in Siesta Key.
There's some highlights for you, Dick. I know you watched the game.
Yes, I did. We had a Gator party at my house. I tell you, my son-in-law, Thomas Cruz, played for Urban Meyer when he was at Notre Dame. He was in charge of the quarterbacks. He told me, Thomas, who's an outstanding prosecutor now, he told me at the time they hired him, he said, put it down. I will tell you, Mr. V, that he will win and win big.
Well, I think back to the dinner you had at your house for the V Foundation back in the spring. You had 2 national championship coaches in your house that night, as it turns out.
Yeah, for the Jimmy V.
You had Donovan and Meyer. Oden to miss. He is being more assertive here early in the second half.
He has to be a little bit more active inside. He's starting to use that right hand more than he's done in the past.
Bad pass stolen away by Conley. You're not going to catch him.
And that's what he does well. He also defends well for a young kid. You talk about a diaper dandy. He's truly a diaper dandy. We've got some good freshman point guards. Think of Lawson developing down there with Roy Williams at North Carolina. You think of the kid we saw at Texas, Augustine.
Had a terrific game against LSU that night. The three, not there for Flowers. The tip comes down to Chappell, who's had a good game.
See, Chappell's going to get some looks because Odin's not going to come out and chase him. So he's going to be wide open. He's going to be wide open. Shoot it.
He's going to take it.
You got to shoot it.
Tucker all alone for the weak side rebound. The nice kick to Taylor for three.
And really created by my BTB. Mr. Tucker kicks it back out. Taylor's so underrated. He has really developed. There was a time he was thinking of transfer, and he was very unhappy his freshman year.
16 for Taylor. Harris with the answer. His 4-3 of the night.
I tell you, what a luxury it is when you have a guy that can make threes when you're struggling, Dan, and they can all of a sudden knock that down. Oh, you Buckeye fans are going to have so much to cheer about all year.
Ohio State right now 2-0 in league play. Wisconsin has only played once. They won that game. Offensive foul on Flowers.
That's an excellent call by Tommy O'Neill. He used to work in the NBA. Hey, you know, some teams looking for some cupcakes to play. What about this? And we see the charge right here. Oh, there's the left hand. He knocks him down. Let's give a salute to Caltech. They snapped their 207-game losing streak in Division III. The Beavers beat Bard 81-52. Some teams ought to call up Bard. Hey.
Butler has it taken away by Flowers. He's everywhere defensively.
If Ohio State's going to leave here with a W, Butler and Lewis, their stabilizers, have to provide some production.
Tucker won't put it up against Odin. Landry from outside. He drills it.
And who created it with the assist again? It was Tucker going to the basket, but then understanding shot selection with the presence of Odin, he reverses and kicks it out.
Tucker not having a huge scoring night, but still helping his team in many ways. Harris a miss. Tucker a rebound, his fifth.
He's a multi-dimensional guy. He's got great quickness to the basket.
And usually he's either being guarded by someone smaller than him and he can post them, or someone bigger than him and he's too quick for them. He's a real matchup nightmare.
Yeah, it's tough for him to post in this scenario because Odin can rotate over. He can give a lot of help because Chappell's not really a threat shooting the ball.
Three subs getting ready to check in for the Buckeyes. Chappell a loose ball in a little room. Tucker going right at Odin.
He took it right to the big guy. He says, I'm bringing it in your face, big fella. He said, diaper dandy, try to get this one. Oh, this is great basketball.
And Tom O'Neill just said that a timeout was called for by Ohio State. They were on their way to a dunk, and Thad Matta said, I didn't call a timeout.
But one of the players must have. We missed it. I know I didn't see it.
It is a timeout for the Buckeyes, and it cost them a couple of points.
NBA Wednesday, 9 Eastern on ESPN.
Inspired by a true story of the world's most terrifying serial killer. This Friday, in a remote corner of Africa,
You realize we could die here?
the hunt for a killer begins. Run! Primeval Rated R starts Friday.
Dodge Ram, the longest lasting, most durable line of full-size pickups.
Now this is real pan pizza.
Sure tastes better than Domino's.
And Papa John's. More toppings, too.
And it's only $10.
I should go. Me too.
It's true. America preferred Pizza Hut pan pizza almost 2-to-1 in a national taste test. And to celebrate, Pizza Hut is offering any pan pizza, any toppings for just $10. Get more of what you love under one roof. Want more taste? Get America's favorite pizza. Pizza Hut.
Inspired by a true story of the world's most terrifying serial killer. This Friday, in a remote corner of Africa,
You realize we could die here?
the hunt for a killer begins. Primeval Rated R starts Friday.
We are robbing Mick Jagger.
The best new comedy of the year is Pulling a Crime with a Babe That's Fine.
Does anyone here do a good impression of Mick Jagger?
I am Mick Jagger.
Close.
All new Nights of Prosperity, Wednesday night 8 Central, followed by In Case of Emergency, only on ABC.
All right. Tonight's telecast is also available on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. It's 41-36 for the Badgers here at the Kohl Center in Madison. We're getting an explanation, or Dick is, while I'm talking to you. Dick is talking to the officials, Tim Higgins and Tom O'Neill, to find out what happened on that last play. I think what we're going to be told is it was an inadvertent whistle. Nobody called timeout, but one was initially charged to Ohio State. You may have seen a Wisconsin player, Marcus Landry, stop running. He heard the whistle being blown by one of the officials for the timeout, but there was no timeout called. It cost Ohio State a couple of points. They got a layup. Dick, what did they tell you?
Well, they made a mistake. There's no question they made a mistake. You can classify it as an inadvertent whistle. He blew the whistle thinking Thad Matta had signaled for a timeout, but he did not signal for a timeout.
And Marcus Landry, again, he stopped running because of the whistle. And then after the fact, a long pass was made and a layup was up and in. Maybe Landry wouldn't have stopped running had there not been a whistle. So who knows how it would have turned out. But
who would have been, should have been,
right.
Who, what is, Abbott Costello, play basketball.
So no timeout charge to the Buckeyes. That was the under-16 media timeout. Pull up from the elbow, bounces in for Daquan Cook. They need a big second half out of him.
I love Daquan Cook. I love kids that have that scorer's mentality, not afraid to take big shots, has no fear of failure while he's playing.
Out of Dayton, two-time player of the year in the state of Ohio.
Let him know a state championship, Dunmore High School. Great program down there. In fact, Greg Oden's younger brother's playing there now, Anthony.
How big is he? How much of a prospect is he? We'll have to keep tabs on him over the next couple of years. Chappell again, Oden playing off him.
Chappell's got wide open looks.
Yep.
I mean, he's got wide open looks.
Landry has to launch from the perimeter, and it's off the leg of Conley, out of bounds, and back to the Badgers.
Mentioned Landry. Landry's going to hook it up against his brother when they play Purdue.
That's right.
As you look at Michael Conley Sr., the triple jump Olympic gold medalist in '92.
And now the officials want to look to see if that shot from Landry hit the rim or not. Ohio State never had possession. Conley never had possession. So they're going to look and see if the shot clock should have been reset or if Wisconsin will only have a couple of seconds to work with. Here's Landry from the wing. And it did not appear to hit the rim. That's what the officials have decided. So there are only 3 seconds on the shot clock right now for the Badgers. Landry to inbound it. Tucker somehow goes.
Does he get credit for that? Oh, incredible. You talk about having a great year.
You talk about degree of difficulty like you were mentioning before.
These guys want to be divers.
Tucker now with 11. Landry altered a shot at the other end. David Lighty has it blocked by Landry.
Lighty's a tough kid physically as well.
Tucker again, and it's a travel. Good call.
Yeah, Timmy Higgins with an excellent call. He definitely walked in that situation. Remember, he had a broken nose last year and had a breathing problem.
Remember, the shot clock is an issue, so he knows he's got to hurry this one up.
And he just flips it up.
That's
but
amazing.
He's hanging. That's amazing. The body control.
Lost it. Caught it again on the way down and just threw it up.
You know, last year he played, he said he couldn't breathe in a situation other than through his mouth. And this year he said he feels like a new person after the surgery he had.
Yeah, surgery in the summer. He says the better breathing has given him much more energy. Remember, he had a broken foot too he had to deal with as well.
I would think so. He's a red shirt.
Yeah.
He's a fifth-year player.
Tough shot by Cook.
He takes a lot of tough shots, but he's got
with a block.
He's got that kind of ability.
It'll stay with the Buckeyes. Boy, they're getting after it right now.
They are. I tell you, Bowery Alvarez has quite an athletic program down here with their football, basketball, hockey. Barry, I understand right now, we did the game last night. Is in Naples, Florida, get a little rest and relaxation. He deserves to have some.
Butler with a deep three. Ohio State has now made 8 threes in 17 attempts.
And that's what keeps them in the game. I'll tell you, Butler's a guy. I told you earlier, he's got to put some points on the board. There's that 2-2-1 press, keeping Odom back. It's nice when you got a safety like that.
Krabenhoff, good fake.
But they did a great job bringing Odom away from the play. They brought him away from the play, and it opened up the entire 3-second area.
Hunter left open. Crowd wanted to travel. Hunter's got it again. Landry swats it away. Cook to the rim.
I'll tell you, Landry can alter shots and block shots as well. He did that against Marquette. 2-on-1. Bounce pass. You got the open guy. He says, no, I'm going right to the rack.
Flowers all the way.
They got off to a poor start the other day against Minnesota. Flowers made a dunk that got them all motivated, and they were on the way with a blowout. It's really sad to see what's happening in the Golden Gopher program. Basketball, football, they got to get some really big-time people in.
Boy, you talk about student spirit, and we listen to the noise here tonight. Offensive foul, David Whiting.
Out of control, Jim Molinari, who I really like, maybe gets a chance to start from scratch. He did a great job of rallying better. There's the drive. He's out of control, up in the air. Defense rotates over. There's the charge.
Greg Steensma, the junior out of Randolph, Wisconsin, takes the charge.
Got Andy North in the house tonight. Wisconsin grad, Andy Katz, our own, proud to be a Wisconsin grad, but he hasn't donated a dime in the last 10 years to his alma mater.
Oh, Krabenhoff. He got behind the defense, saw Odin coming, and tried to dish it off.
Exactly, it was Odin's presence. Oh, he got to go up strong with that. Take it right up to the basket.
Instead, Odin is fouled to take us to a timeout. It is physical, it is intense here in Madison, and it's the backcourt of the Badgers leading the way. They're up by 6.
Dodge Ram, the longest-lasting, most durable line of full-size pickups.
While a little extra padding may be cute on Baby New Year, the rest of us made a resolution to get fit this year. But how do you stick with a routine? Experts say that variety is the key. You get a well-rounded workout and you avoid getting bored. So mix it up. Strength, flexibility, cardio, find what works for you. On Expo TV, you can browse through our fitness categories, find new ways to get fit and see them demonstrated. To find Expo TV, turn to channel 1285. Expo TV, it's easy, it's free, only on Time Warner Digital Cable.
Make a smooth approach. Make smooth contact with Electric Shave Pre-Shave Lotion. Stands up whiskers for up to a 52% closer shave. Electric Shave. Blade close, electric smooth.
Can an odor-free cream stand up to your back pain? You bet if it's Aspercream. Aspercream is clinically proven to knock out the pain with the maximum strength formula that's odor-free. Arthritis pain stopped? You bet if it's Aspercream.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. Over on ESPN2, LSU keeps making runs at Alabama but can't quite get over the hump. Ronald Steele off the feed from Alonzo G. Alabama up by 9, about 8 and change to go in the second half in Tuscaloosa. A couple of other scores. Texas A&M wins on the road at Baylor. AC Law has 20 points in that one. And Air Force down 15 at halftime. Now with the 8-point lead on New Mexico in the second half.
The Air Force, a very impressive team. Their only loss this season came to Duke. Here, Wisconsin leads by 6, and we saw a clinic, Dick, on Wisconsin to break in the pressure.
Well, it did a great job creating offense versus the pressure. Watch the ball, they'll freeze it right here. See now, this is Odom. They bring Odom away, and it opens up this whole area. He goes down. They get a layup. It is Steensma right to Krabenhoff. There he is right there for the layup. Ran down the gut. The key to that play was to take Odom away from the basket.
Steamsma also took a charge in that last sequence, so he's done a good job off the bench tonight. Boy, it's physical between Chappell and Oden. Again, a lot of big bodies for the Badgers, and they're not backing down at all from Oden.
I'll tell you one thing they've done a great job, Wisconsin. We have not had a dunk from Oden tonight.
Oden does not have a field goal in this game. He's got only 2 points, and they're on free throws.
You would think he can get 3, 4, 5 baskets a night in terms of dunks around the basket.
Butler the miss. Long rebound to the Badgers. Numbers again. Taylor with Tucker. Taylor finishes.
He does a great job protecting the basketball in transition. I thought he was going to throw a little hook pass to Tucker for the layup.
18 for Tucker. Largest lead of the night for the Badgers.
They are so tough. Experience. Play so well together, the Badgers.
Let's find out more about them from Aaron Andrews.
Well, Dan, remember in the preseason, it was the Big Ten media who predicted that Ohio State would win the conference. Alonzo Tucker from the Badgers said, if you expect a freshman to win the league, you're crazy. He said it's a brutal schedule and freshmen can't do it all by themselves, Dan.
All right, Aaron, thank you. That's the truth, and that's the truth that the Buckeyes are finding out about right here and right now.
It was horrible, Mother. He wouldn't die.
Law is now Brutus. There is more at stake here than your desire for vengeance.
You have to retaliate. You'll start a gang war.
Are you with me or not?
This is the beginning of the end for them.
All those that defied Mark Antony shall pay.
Monday.
Finishing. You can't stop.
Super Tuesday.
Up in the air. Oh, my goodness.
ACC Wednesday.
The Dukies are on fire.
Each night, all season long, the field of battle changes, but never the fight for domination. Conference supremacy, what separates the leaders from the pack. Big Monday, Super Tuesday, ACC Wednesday. All season long, beginning at 7 on ESPN.
There's a car company for people like that. Ford. Bold moves.
Make a smooth approach. Make smooth contact with Electric Shave Pre-Shave Lotion. Stands up whiskers for up to a 52% closer shave. Electric Shave. Blade close. Electric smooth.
When winter skin hits, I itch. When it's way beyond dry,
I itch.
Unlike ordinary lotions, Gold Bond moisturizes and medicates to soothe and relieve dry, itchy skin. Gold Bond Medicated Lotion, the moisturizing fix that medicates the itch.
Back in Madison, the Badgers are up 8 on the Buckeyes in a top 5 matchup. A very quiet night for Greg Oden. Has not made a field goal, just 2 points on the night. Ohio State trailing by 8. A couple more great games for you tomorrow night. It's ACC Wednesday, presented by Staples here on ESPN. Duke is down in Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech, and then out of the Big 12 we go over on ESPN2 at 9 Eastern. Oklahoma State and a Kansas team which is playing some very good basketball recently. Meanwhile, the clock is running here before the ball was inbounded. The clock was running for several seconds. Jimmy Burse spotted it, so now they're going to put some time back on the clock. It should be
11 minutes and change.
Yeah, Pat McGrath tells us he was all over it. It should be at 11:03. That clock ran for 24 seconds.
You know, Pat McGrath, our fine statistician, along with John Madry, do a great job. People wonder where we get all these numbers. Those guys are so good to us. Look at that, Martin, now in a little conference with Mr. Burr.
This should be a pretty easy fix. It was stopped at 11:03 when Ohio State called that timeout.
You know, Thad did a great job. I said that when he was over at Xavier as well. I remember the year in 2004, lost a heartbreaker to Duke to go to the Final Four. He beat Louisville, Mississippi State, Texas. He loses to Duke. That's the year Connecticut won it all.
There it is at 11:03 during the timeout. Players are on the floor. Cheerleaders are still on the floor. And the clock starts running.
Yes,
and the shot clock's running as well. It should be.
They fixed
it now. Yep.
Good bit of officiating.
11:03 and a full 35 on the shot clock.
See, they're attacking against the pressure. They're not backing away. They're attacking. I love that mentality. Let us attack. So many coaches get passive against pressure. They're only satisfied to bring the ball back and go 5-on-5. My guy Digger Phelps, when he's at Notre Dame, they used to attack pressure.
First double-digit lead for either team in this game. Odin fouled from behind by Chappell as we check in with Reese Davis with the SportsCenter 30 at 30.
All right, guys, check in now in the Baseball Hall of Fame class. Cal Ripken played in 2,632 straight games. He's going to the Hall of Fame with one of the greatest hitters of all time, Tony Gwynn, also elected to Cooperstown, not going that way as Mark McGuire. Got less than 25% of the vote. Steve Kragthorpe going to Louisville. New head coach. He'll replace Bobby Petrino. SportsCenter coming up after the game. ESPN News on all the time.
You saw Odin with a block, but Kravenhoff to follow, and it's a 12-point lead for the Badgers.
Thad Matta's got to be careful of the technical. He wanted an offensive foul. Jimmy Burr's going over to talk to him. He wanted an offensive foul right here. See, he wants him right now, taking the ball into him. There's the score, the offensive rebound.
Matta working up a sweat over on the sideline. It's a 17-5 run, Dick, right now for the Badgers since a 36-36 tie. Chappell picked up his third. He goes out, but here comes 6'11", 240, Brian Butch.
Well, he gets some offense right now. If Odin plays Butch will make him come out.
Butch right now is not guarding Odin. Landry is. Harris for three, not there. Rebound Flowers.
You would think that'd be a mismatch when you look at Landry. Look at the way they're attacking.
Wow, look at the block by Harris. Landry again.
They're so tough. These kids are so hungry, tough. You're not talking about a lot of McDonald's high school All-Americans. You're talking about kids that want to play together and want to win. Have a sense of pride, passion.
39-2 in this building under Bo Ryan against Big Ten opponents.
And the only one to beat them was the Big Orange from out of the flying Illini. Look at them staying with the ball. I mean, they're just staying with it, very tenacious. I love, as a former coach, 28 years on ESPN, you love seeing kids compete who come out and just play. And they didn't come in with a big notoriety. A kid like Orlando Tucker wasn't America's guest, coming out of Lockport, Illinois.
The lead is up to 14 now for Wisconsin. Look at how tough it has been to win here the last 6 years. That's the extent of Bo Ryan's tenure. Fourth toughest place in the country.
People wondering about Gonzaga. They're going to go on a roll now in conference play. They're not going to lose that home, that's for sure.
Harris wide open. Wisconsin basketball.
You know, Dan Monty, to me, has coached two different teams. He's coached one team one way without Greg Oden, and now has to make a tremendous adjustment to coaching a team with Greg Oden. They are not acclimated yet, rhythm-wise, to know how to utilize the big guy in the post.
Butch with a great feed. Oden recovers for the block. No question, he improves them by a huge margin defensively, but offensively, they're still trying to work the kinks out.
But because of Thad Matta's leadership, coaching ability, by the end of the year, they will have that all in sync. Remember, he's got so many young kids, Dan. Trying to blend them all together is tough.
They're going right at the big fella. That was Flowers with a layup.
They told us before the game, we are not changing our style of play and our attacking mode because of Greg Oden. We're going to play our style and our system, and that's to attack, attack, attack.
Daquan Cook. And Cook is fouled. I think the foul was on the shot, so I think Cook's going to get 3 free throws here.
Also, this is the first time these kids, when you think about road trips, had the trip to Champaign on Saturday, and now coming here to Badger Country, two of the toughest places to play in the Big Ten.
They feel that with their high school state championships, their AAU experience and so forth, that none of these young kids are going to be rattled. But Wisconsin has dominated them in the second half here tonight.
It's a whole different rhythm to the game, playing when you're talking AAU competition and playing in an organized fashion of this. I'm not certainly minimizing what they do in the AAU because they do a great job, some of the people involved. Gary Charles out of New York and many of them, they do a great job with the kids. But it's a different environment in this situation. situation, Dan.
Dick, the clock is running again. They just stopped it, but it was running again between the free throws. Second time that they've had this problem here.
That would be called a clock that is malfunctioning. Oh, Dan, it's so much fun to be able to make a living doing what we do, having so much fun. Stealing money. It's great to steal money. And ESPN's got a lot of money. Something they gave Michael Woolman a new contract, 5-year extension. They got no more money for us. Michael deserves it. He and Tony do a great job with PTI. I was on Mike and Mike this morning, and we were talking. I seen where LSU's getting beat by Alabama, and they're introducing Nick Saban. And we talked about Mr. Saban because I feel he hurts the credibility of all coaches when he gets adamant and belligerent and states, "I'm not going to Alabama. I'm not going to Alabama." Well, you know what? He did go to Alabama.
And where's Alabama going for a football game next year?
LSU.
How about that?
You know, if I'm a kid, I sit in the house and he recruits me, I look at him when he says, "Hey, I'm going to be there 4 years." I look at him and say, "Coach, I'm looking at your track record. Not too good, my friend."
That's right.
I mean, I really think it hurts all coaches when that kind of, you only simply have to say is, "Hey, I'm staying at Miami," or "I'm talking about Miami," and that's it. Talking about Miami. I had to get a little rant out there.
You feel good?
Yeah,
you got it off your chest. You're unburdened now. I'm glad.
Because I love coaches too much. I don't want to see all coaches hurt because of the actions of one.
Boy, the Badgers have done such a nice job handling that Ohio State pressure. They've made it look effortless. Flowers, and there's another block by Odin. That's where he has made his greatest impact here tonight.
Yeah, he really is a defensive stopper. There's no doubt.
And it helps get the 3 points at the other end, and suddenly a 16-point deficit is down to 10.
Well, with their ability to shoot the three, they can take a deficit and shrink it immediately. That three-point shot. How many times you and I have witnessed the three-point shot change the whole complexion of the game?
Tucker, he's not going to go with Odin. He'll kick it to Landry in the corner. Marcus Landry's having some kind of a night.
How productive has he been defensively? And now he comes out with a big three. His brother does a solid job as a post player for Purdue.
Offensive foul, Greg Oden.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. No doubt that he backed him in.
We'll hear from one former Ohio State star talking about the current Ohio State star, Greg Oden, struggling tonight when we come back.
You may not realize it, but there's a source of renewable energy right in your neighborhood, and you're helping to power it. Today, Waste Management is using the resources at our disposal to create energy from waste. Enough green energy to power over 1 million homes. From everyday collection to environmental protection, think green, think Waste Management.
Hey, these guys joined my team and lost weight.
Mike Golick, 51 pounds.
Sean Salisbury, 35 pounds.
Scott Conover, 100 pounds.
Hey, Marino, I lost 32 pounds.
Get real results with Nutrisystem for Men.
You know, my wife told me I'm not as disgusting to her as I used to be.
Call or go online now to get 4 weeks of awesome food. Plus, through this special offer, you'll also get an extra week of hearty meals free.
Burgers, pizzas, lasagna, pot roast.
Eat like a man and still lose weight.
Our secret is the breakthrough science of the glycemic advantage that separates good carbs from bad. Now carbs are no longer off limits.
Nutrisystem worked for me. Trust me, it'll work for you.
About $10 a day gets you 4 full weeks of rib-sticking meals.
Pick up the phone and lose weight.
Order our 4-week men's program and get an extra 7 breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and desserts. A full week of food and a $70 value absolutely free. So call now.
Welcome back to Madison. The Grateful Red enjoying this one. Badgers leading Ohio State 60-47. I'm joined right now by former Buckeye Michael Redd, of course, with the Milwaukee Bucks taking some time off with a knee injury. Got to ask you your impressions of Greg Oden on the Buckeyes.
I'm very impressed. Very impressed. Had a chance to work out with him this summer and the rest of the team, and you know, he's a monster. He's a monster. He's not having the greatest of games tonight, but I love his game.
Some problems Greg Oden has offensively in the past 2 games. What do you see from him right now? What does he need to work on, Michael?
Well, this is a challenge for him. Playing college basketball is another level of basketball, better competition, and it's something that he'll grow through. he has to get the ball more, I think, to make plays and to work harder in practice. And so all those little things will add up to being a great player, which he's going to be.
If you had to give him some advice, would you tell him to go to the league next year or come back?
It's up to him. It's up to him. I mean, it's a great opportunity if he does leave. It's a great opportunity if he does stay to get his degree. And if he loves college, he can stay in college.
All right, thanks so much. Take care of that knee, man.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'll tell you one thing. I used to love Michael Redd as a player, but he is an incredible politician. I'm going to call him Senator Redd. I mean, he said all the right things.
Out 4 to 6 weeks, as Aaron mentioned, with a knee injury. Wisconsin turns the ball over. A chance for us to tell you about a big NBA game tomorrow night at 9 Eastern. Allen Iverson of the Nuggets hosting Tim Duncan of the Spurs. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Tim Duncan, a 4-year player in college. Yeah. That was another era.
He stayed at 4 years at Wake Forest, was a terrific player. And he hasn't hurt his game on the NBA level. Hasn't hurt his bank account either. That's a great entry. That was
first field goal of the night.
Well, that was the first time they had great post position, and they were determined to get him the ball. They had the 45-degree angle in the low box, really utilized the box area exceptionally well.
Tucker sneaks inside, and Odin fouled him. I believe it's going to be Odin, and if it is, it's his fourth.
It was Odin.
Yep.
It was Odin. He did a great job sitting in the low post in a previous situation. He's got to do more of that. See, watch him down here. He's in that box in a low post, and he slides over, gets the good angle. He was active, Dan. He was active and wanted the basketball. He's got to do more of that. And I agree with Michael Redd. He's got to just work on that area of his game and just keep working and working how to get free for the ball.
Thad Matta is going to leave his big man in the game with 4 fouls.
Got to leave him in. Take a look, 7 minutes on the clock. You're in trouble. You're down double digits.
2 misses for Tucker. Offensive rebound, Landry.
That's been his Achilles heel. As Al McGuire would say, one of the great guys of all time. An Achilles heel is making those free throws for Tucker.
Yeah, he's missed 5 of 6 tonight.
I mean, that's big.
Nice cut by Landry. Floater over Odin. Followed by Landry, and he had it taken away.
Every possession now getting really big for the Buckeyes.
Harris wide open, knocks down another 3, his 5th of the game.
And those threes get you back quickly. There's that 2-2-1 press. They should bring it to the side like they did last time. Run a sideline attack on the side to get Odin to go to the sideline.
This time they come up the middle to Landry, so Odin stays put. It's an 11-3 run for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, they funnel the ball right to Odin to the middle of the floor.
Taylor, way long. Krabenhoff sensed it, went after the loose ball. Shot clock didn't reset. Tucker the pull-up.
That's big-time play right there. That was a big-time play right there because they don't score there. You're looking at them with the basketball only down 8 with a way to shoot the 3.
You know what? He may not be having his best night,
but he's made big plays.
And he's got 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. A lot of players would take that. Steal by Taylor.
Can't have that kind of turnover when you're trying to cut a deficit.
Conley slithers in and draws the foul.
The Wisconsin foul was on Marcus Landry, his 3rd for team.
Take a look at Tucker right now. Little dribble move, and there's the explosiveness, the fade away, hanging in the air, backing away, and there's the steal, stepping in the passing lane, and the little layup. Great play. I tell you, Wisconsin's had some magical moments. They said one of them against Ohio State happened here on March 3rd, 1962. And playing in that game was a guy by the name of Robert Montgomery Knight for the Buckeyes, who had 27 Big Ten games. They won in a row, 47 in a row regular season, and they were blown out by 19. Also on that team, guys by the name of Jerry Lucas, John Havlicek, Larry Siegfried. They got beat 61-2 by Cincinnati in the finals. They won the national title in '60 under Fred Taylor.
Huge ovation for Marcus Landry as he goes to the bench.
That was a proud moment for the Badgers and John Erickson, their coach. There's Chappell up on high.
A very deep, experienced, and savvy bunch of Badgers tonight. They've had an outstanding second half.
Well, take some time off that clock now with that zone. Use the shot clock, get the high percentage shot after you take it down.
Taylor. Chappell had a hand on the rebound, but Lewis comes up with it.
He had a wide open look up on top against that zone. Big gaps and seams up on top.
Here's Odin. Nice give and go. Conley back to Odin, and he's fouled.
There's that familiarity up in Lawrence North where they won 3 state titles in a row. 29-0 there last year together. I love them because they're good kids. They're really good kids. You can see that people have guided them the proper way. They don't have the attitude, the strut, the slide, the glide, the posse, and all the jazz. As his dad, Michael Conley.
Odin shooting free throws left-handed again, knocks down the first. He shot 1 free throw right-handed against Coppin State a couple of weeks ago. Other than that, every single one this year has been with a left hand as he makes 1 of 2.
Another big matchup was one year when Clark Kellogg played, and he made a big 18-foot jumper to give him a win, 77-75 at the Fieldhouse. Clark, I love him. He does a terrific job for CBS.
Chappell out of traffic. Chappell's given them some really solid minutes here tonight. It'll be Tucker for 3. And Odin the rebound. And a push by Chappell.
See, that's a silly foul right there. Stop the clock. You know, last year Tucker shot like 22% from 3. He's up to 33% this year. You look at Bo Ryan on that sideline. We've talked about what he has done. Comes out of Pennsylvania area where Jameer Nelson came as well. Chester, yeah. Jameer is doing a great job in the NBA, by the way.
Talk about a guy with intangibles. Back to the line goes Odin for a couple of free throws.
You know, I listened to Kirk Herbstreit the other day, and he made a really great point, and Kirk does a terrific job with us in football and college football. He talked about the hunger factor. He talked about the underdog, and I see some of that even here tonight. Even though Wisconsin's playing at home, a lot of these kids are tired of reading about all the notoriety that these Buckeye young kids have had, and you sort of play with a chip on your shoulder, and that's what Kirk said could happen in the Florida-Ohio State game, and you saw that. You saw a bunch of guys that didn't get a lot of publicity. It was all Buckeye, and you play motivated, a lot of good things can happen.
Odin takes the ball away from Landry.
See, I always come out a little motivated because I know I'm the underdog versus you with that drive. See, I come out here with a chip on my shoulder, and I come out to say, I got to show Dan Schumann, I know a little basketball too.
Aaron, help me out, help me out. Ron Lewis on the drive.
We're having fun. Oh, what a night.
All right, international shipping. Well, your products are on a plane, ready to go to your customers in Europe to arrive on Friday. But Italy wants it there by noon, Paris early morning, and London late afternoon. Well, if you had a UPS logo, now when your customers ask, you can say, si, oui, and yes. It's not international shipping. It's international shipping with UPS. And you even got a little tailwind. Being audited.
Really? Well, maybe we should go see the people that did our taxis. Oh, that's right. We didn't use people. We used a box. Well, Greg asked the box what we should do now.
Tax Cut from H&R Block is the only tax prep software with audit support, included at no extra cost when you e-file.
What's it saying?
Nothing. It's a box.
When you got Tax Cut from H&R Block, you got people.
Everybody ready for this tournament? That's not good. I'm State Farm agent Al Sicard, and this is a true story.
They took everything, even the kids' uniforms.
Coach had to stay with the truck.
Al took them over to the mall. He got them new uniforms.
He got them to the game just in time.
But our coach didn't make it. So I grabbed the clipboard, and I coached.
And they ended up winning the whole thing.
He got them to play zone. I can't get them to play zone.
Great service and great rates. It's all here. Nobody takes care of you like State Farm. Call an agent today.
Like a good neighbor?
State Farm is there!
Reese Davis with you on ESPN2. LSU and Alabama. Richard Hendricks is going to work on following his own inside and then slam it right down. Boy, Glenn Davis is having a virtuoso night unofficially. 24-17, but LSU's down by 10.
Dick Listen-Reese talking about the Tide. Alabama bouncing back after getting crushed by Arkansas over the weekend. Wisconsin trying to hold home court here as they are up 8 on Ohio State. They are almost unbeatable. The Badgers are here at the Kohl Center as we take a look at the Lowe's home team advantage under Bo Ryan. This is his 6th season. Look at how good their record is. I know more than anything that 39-2 at home against Big Ten opponents really blows you away.
Yeah, it really does, because there have been some good Big Ten teams over the years since he's been here his 6th year. He's got 11 in a row, got an 11-game win streak. Only lost to Missouri State. Lost
2.
that game in a tournament.
Down at the South Padre Invitational, Ohio State's 2 losses, both on the road at Carolina and at Florida.
Not bad places when you think about North Carolina and Florida. I still think North Carolina is my team to win it all. I really do. I know they're young. I like their explosiveness. I love their coach. I just like Hansbrough, and I just love that basketball team's potential. And Mr. Wright, you talk about diaper dandies. There are many more with potential like that guy. Lawson and Ellington are getting better. I know the argument will be, how could you win with 3 freshmen? Those aren't 3 ordinary freshmen.
And there are a lot of great teams this year with a lot of freshmen in their rotation. That's pretty much the norm these days. Wisconsin using some clock. Flowers right into Odin, got it back. Shot clock at 8.
See, I think he's got to make a decision to come out of that zone and stop playing some man.
And they get a timeout called with 5 on the shot clock.
This possession is big. I mean, if they could shut him down here and get the basketball and go up on the other end and get a score, I mean, this is a nerve-wracking time for the Badgers.
Hey, Coach, tell us what the Badgers have done well to contain Greg Oden tonight.
Well, they've done a great job keeping the ball away from him, but he's sort of helped them out because he's not active offensively. Hasn't learned how to flash and get free. On a high school level, you can dominate with his strength and size. On a collegiate level, there's other big players as well. It's always easy to guard someone that is not in motion. Easiest guy to play is a guy that is not moving. And I think that's his problem. He has to learn to be a little bit more active, and they have to learn how to feed him the basketball at the right time. You know, he's only 18. He's not going to be 19 until January 22nd.
He does have 6 blocks tonight, but he's got only 5 points and 4 rebounds. Each of those would be his lowest total in this is his 9th game since coming back from the injury. Shot clock's going to run out. Ohio State takes it away right at the end of the clock anyway.
Should have thrown the lob right up to Odom. He was wide open, wanted the lob, and they didn't spot him. That's what I talk about, getting the ball to the big guy at the right time. A lot of people don't know how to feed the post.
And he can run the floor just about as well as any big guy in the country.
He's a terrific athlete. And with his mental tenacity, he's going to be the complete dominating post player. Patrick Ewing was a little limited offensively when he initially came.
I think that's a good comparison. There's a foul committed by Lewis. I think that's a good comparison. Ewing, his freshman year, would score a lot right around the rim on dunks if he could just overpower people. But Ewing was more of a force defensively, same as Odin initially.
Hey, I ask you one question. Who would have ever thought at this time that the only unbeaten team in basketball would be Clemson?
Beat NC State tonight, now 17-0. The Badgers turn it over and get it right back. Flowers again.
3-on-1. Gave it to the right guy. Good decision. Rather than go to the right, you go to the left, and you give it to your PT Peer, who's got that little bounce as he comes back on the defensive side. They say what a great kid he is. Came from a tough situation. Tucker never allowed it to get him down. He vowed he would not drink, he would not put tattoos, no smoking, and he's lived by that doctrine.
17 tonight for the All-American candidate, Orlando Tucker, the 5th-year senior out of Lockport, Illinois. Welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Lexus. A top 5 battle here between Ohio State and Wisconsin, along with Dick Vitale and Aaron Andrews. I'm Dane Schulman. Glad you're along with us here at the sold-out Kohl Center. A reminder that SportsCenter is next. Among the stories that will be covered on SportsCenter, who got into the Baseball Hall of Fame and who did not. They'll also take a look back at this game, and boy, Taylor and Flowers have been sensational. Tucker's had a good night as well.
Yeah, that backcourt's been really well. You know, Tucker slowly putting big numbers on. He's not had a spectacular day shooting, but he's made big plays at the right moment. Going to a half-court trap right here. Want to go 2-1-2, want to flash somebody to the post area.
They got Flowers trapped, but he gets out of it.
Reversing to Tucker. They have Tucker wide open on the side.
Grabenhoff with a shot clock. Now down to a dozen. Boy, they do a good job in these situations.
Yeah, they really are well coached. At the end of the game, they manage the clock well. They usually get the right people to shoot the ball.
And a foul with 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
So you let him go that far, you don't foul there. I mean, if you allow him to take it down, if you're going to foul, the Jimmy Valvano theory is foul a lot sooner. Don't let him take all that clock down. They left his feet. As soon as you go to the head fake, he left something on the floor.
Just the 6th team foul on Ohio State, so no free throws instead of fresh 35 for Wisconsin, which is better, really.
You know what I love about him? I read an article in Sports Illustrated, a great article by Grant Wall on Mr. Tucker, talked about what he wants to do in his community. Cares about kids, wants to help. So I'm hoping he makes a lot of cash because he's going to give back.
Yep. Wants to build a community center for kids.
Said he did a 19-page doctrine for a class all about it. His plan, all outlined. Grant Wall does a great job.
I'll tell you, when the story of this game is written, Michael Flowers' role should not be forgotten. He has done a ton of things for the Badgers tonight.
Yeah, he and Taylor, they have been great. I tell you, the environment's been super. But remember this, they have a date on February 25th, and something tells me that Mr. Oden by then is going to learn how to move a little bit more. They're going to learn how to get him the ball a little bit more, get a little bit more familiar, and they're going to be a tough team for Wisconsin down there at Ohio State.
Taylor at the line. He has a game-high 20 points tonight.
Yes, sir, putting that line. Hey, one of the people in the crowd here, I'm always excited to see him sitting there. Is Bobby Ferraro, played for me in high school in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
You won a couple of championships, right, as a coach there in Jersey?
Well, you know, we back-to-back state championships, not because of me. That's some great kids, great players.
Listen to the ovation as they go into the final minute. Connolly lays it up and in, and Thad Matta calls a timeout.
The one positive that he can have here tonight, Thad Matta, the kids never, ever quit. They kept fighting. They were down 16, and a lot of teams could have folded with this environment, but they kept battling and battling back. John Gross out there as assistant.
Again, SportsCenter is next here on ESPN. We're 55 seconds away from that.
He's got a real nice staff with Dan Peters and Alan Major as well.
You know, we mentioned it once earlier, but it bears repeating. Now with this game having been played, Ohio State has played on the road at the #1 team in the country, the #2 team in the country, and the #3 team in the country. North Carolina, Florida, Wisconsin. It looks like they're going to lose all 3, but come March, these experiences can only help them.
Yeah, they're going to have certainly another challenge with Tennessee.
Yep.
Bruce Pearl's done a phenomenal job down there. I mean, he's done a great job, the combination of Pat Summitt now, and certainly Pearl brings excitement. Hey, the best football and basketball combination has to be Mr. Meyer and Mr. Donovan. And they both live next to each other. They should change the street's name to Championship Corner.
You're like the official spokesman for the state of Florida these days.
Well, I tell you what, it's a great state, great place to be. I know I'll be walking the beach tomorrow at Siesta Key. I'll be going to the Broken Egg. I've invited you again. Come down and have some little, you know, a Dickie V turkey burger.
I'm going to leave that one alone, although it's so easy I should go for it. Taylor hits the front end.
It's been a lot of fun, Dad. It's been a fun all year working with you and Doris Burke and Aaron and all the people, and Pat McGrath and all the guys involved that make the telecast what it is.
We'll be at Pittsburgh on Saturday night. Aaron will be there as well. Georgetown and Pittsburgh. Then we'll be there again Tuesday night for Connecticut and Pittsburgh.
The Oakland Zoo.
That's right.
Maybe I should go
a zoo.
Hey, I want to go interview for the Steelers job. The job is open. Bill Keller left. Oh, what a hand right here. Going to be 40-2. 40-2 in Big Ten action. That's incredible.
Landry is fouled. They're going to force Wisconsin to nail it down at the line.
You know, you look at Bo Ryan now. I want you all to look at Bo Ryan. He had to sweat and perspire and bust his gut to get an opportunity to coach at the level that he's at today. 4 Division III national titles. There are a lot of guys out there today coaching in high school, coaching junior high, college, and at the smaller level. All they need is somebody to open a door and give them an opportunity.
And as you said, this is not a bunch of McDonald's All-Americans. They have one in Brian DeButch, but he's interested in a particular kind of player, a particular kind of person.
Yes.
Odin gets a jam.
Why can't they do that more often? Throw a high lob to the 7-footer, put him around that basket, get him some touches. See, that's what Michael Red said, and said it well. They got to get him the ball a little bit more, and he's got to work to get the ball. Michael is such a great shooter, and he's doing a phenomenal job. He's another guy all the experts didn't pick in the first round, and he's proved them wrong, like also Gilbert Arenas.
That's right.
Doing another great job.
Who's scoring in droves these days. 2 shots coming. That's the 10th foul on Ohio State. 2 shots for Taylor, who's done a nice job at the line tonight, 10 of 12.
He has done a great job. One of my favorite guys in the NBA here tonight, scouting, former general manager, player and all in the NBA, Bob Ferry. Danny Ferry's.
Dick, Wisconsin's letting Ohio State back into this one.
Well, they don't make foul shots.
Yeah. 1 of 2 possession game. Ohio State's converted each of their last 2 times down, and they've really cut into this lead here with 36 seconds to go.
They're not going to back away, but they still got a tough task. I mean, you lose this lead with 6. I mean, it can happen. There's no question with the 3-point shot. But if you do that which is right and play, make free throws, you got to win.
Well, you talked about the game that the Badgers have coming up against Tennessee as they step out of conference for the final time. At Northwestern, Purdue at Illinois, that game on ESPN. And forgive me, it's Ohio State who's got Tennessee coming up. Wisconsin's going to stay in the Big Ten. Michigan, then a couple of road games at Iowa and at Indiana. And you talked about Indiana. They played really well against Michigan State. They played Ohio State tough. And you think by the end of the year, Kelvin Sampson's team's really going to be a handful.
What they did well against Ohio State, kept the game close. They made 12 threes. And if you make 12 threes, you got a chance. And that's why Ohio State has still a little bit of a chance because they can make the threes. This possession obviously is a must. A must possession right here. I'm going to set the ball screen and release Odin, looking for the 3 right here.
Finally not a shooter. Lewis is. It's a 3-point game.
Wow. What a shot he shot. That was an NBA three. That was an NBA three. We've said how the 3-point shot has changed the complexion of games, and we're seeing it here tonight.
Ohio State, the Buckeyes used their last timeout.
Well, take a look right here. They were determined to shoot the 3. Now there's the kick out, and we're going to see the long 3. Look where he's shooting that from. I mean, there's the line. That's way beyond the line. A big-time look right there by Lewis, who's been really quiet. Tonight.
It's his 3rd 3 of the game. Ohio State is now plus 21 from behind the arc. They've got 12 threes. Wisconsin has 5. That's how they've gotten back into this game, by shooting the ball much better in the last 7 or 8 minutes.
Anytime you make double-digit numbers in threes, you got a chance to be able to survive and win. Look at the numbers here. 3-point shooting.
Great shooting in the second half
7 for 12.
the Buckeyes. Let's look at their upcoming schedule. And there's that Tennessee game we were talking about. They'll stay home to play Northwestern and Iowa before heading out on the road to Northwestern.
They got a pretty good streak, I think, coming up right there. I think they're going to be tough to beat in those situations, even on the road at Northwestern and Purdue.
We'll have that Michigan State game as part of the Saturday night primetime package. If you are Ohio State right now, who are you fouling?
Well,
probably maybe the All-American.
Well, remember Tucker. Yeah. Tucker's missed what? How many missed
5 of 6.
5 of 6.
Yep.
I mean, Tucker, you got to make foul shots. I mean, that becomes an Achilles heel. We talked about it all night. You make foul shots. It's part of special situations.
Taylor has, by and large, knocked his down.
Yeah, you don't want to be able to foul Taylor. Taylor's a kid, I think, wants to go to that line.
Timeout Flowers. They've got 1 left.
Showed a lot of guts and heart here, these kids from Columbus coming back, because I really believe they were in trouble, and I thought it was over, to be honest with you, at the 2.5-minute mark. But you couldn't tell it to Dan Mata and his kids.
25 seconds to go. 1 timeout remaining for Wisconsin. The largest lead of the game was 16, Dick. It was 57-41 with 9:27 to play.
You know, this crowd's got a little nervous right now. You can feel it.
That's right.
There's a little tension in the house here. Yes, the Grateful Red's not as loud right now.
Let's look at Conley. Something happened to him on this last play. Number 1 Conley to the right of your screen. And it looked like he stumbled a little bit and then went hopping off in some pain. He is in the game right now, but grimacing a little bit. Oden guarding the inbounds. They get it into Krabenhoft, and he's going to have to earn it at the line.
Well, that's a good foul right there. Didn't let any time come off the clock. Good use of the clock at the end of the game. That amount of coaching his heart off on the sideline.
Dick Krabenhoft, a sophomore, 65% on the season, 2 for 2 tonight.
These may be the 2 biggest he's going to shoot in his career.
SportsCenter next here on ESPN.
Got an 11-game win streak. That's a big one. You want to hold serve, as we say, hold the home court. So vital. He told us before the game, he was very honest. He told us we have to win on our home floor. We have to win. If we entertain thoughts of winning a Big Ten title, we must win tonight. There was no dodging the issue out of Bo Ryan.
1 of 2.
Well, you got a 4-point deficit. You don't have to waste. You get a quick deuce. Just get a quick basket. Throw it inside. Throw the lob up to the big guy. And making him take some time off. Good defensive effort. Making him take some time off that clock.
Now Oden gets it, slams it, and it's a 2-point game.
Bring it to him real quick. Now you got to foul real fast. They got to foul. You can't waste time.
Conley has to foul Taylor. Probably the last guy that Ohio State wanted to foul.
Can't waste time, though. You got to put him on the line. Remember this now. If he makes 1, you got yourself a 1-possession game, a 3-point situation, and they could shoot the 3.
Conley's fouled out, Dick, but again, they had no choice. Harris is going to come back into the game.
3-point shooter. Bringing in Harris. They got to know where he's on the floor. If he makes both, it should be lights out.
Taylor is 11 for 14 tonight, 76% on the season.
This crowd, I can't get over how quiet they were.
Right.
After it was 2.5-minute mark, they were really jumping with joy.
They thought it was in the bag.
I'll be honest, I thought so too, Dan. I really did. I really did. These kids have shown me a lot of heart and guts the way they've battled back. This kid is like, you talk about cool, you talk about wanting the ball. He's like, are you serious? He said, Coach Ryan, relax. Get ready to shake Mr. Mata's hand because we're going home with the W. Oh, they got a chance. They got a chance. Can't foul. Can't foul. Can't foul. There he goes. He got a good look. He had a good look. All you can ask for. Great effort by the Buckeyes to come back and get the last shot to tie it.
Wisconsin goes to 40-2 at home in a Big Ten play under Bo Ryan. Jamar Butler had a terrific look.
He did. He really had a good look right. He squared his body. Squared his body. Got the good look. You know what really helped them in this late spurt was the play of Odom. Finally getting the ball inside to the big guy. Throwing lobs up to him.
The bench explodes. The building explodes. The Badgers beat the Buckeyes tonight, 72-69. Here in Madison. SportsCenter is next. For Dick Vitale, Aaron Anderson, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dan Schulman. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Madison.
As far as the mullet coming back, I think I'd have to wear a wig or have hair extensions for that to happen.
This is SportsCenter.
Gators and Buckeyes back in the spotlight. The other Florida champs in an SEC slugfest, and another disappointment for Ohio State. The Hall calls on Cal Ripken and Tony Gwynn, and a Big Mac Whopper. Will he ever be elected to Cooperstown? NFL divisional playoffs. All eyes on the guys behind center. Whose performance will you be talking about on Monday?
Begin in Gainesville. The Gators have shocked the world.
Welcome to SportsCenter. I'm Stan Verrett along with Steve Levy. The BCS championship game was sold last night for Florida and Ohio State. They finished 1-2 in football, and now that that's over, Well, the fun isn't. They could see each other again in Atlanta this time.
Stan, the Final Four just around the corner. Speaking of four, the Ohio State Lottery had to stop customers from playing 41-14, the score of last night's game, because so many people picked the same numbers. After Ohio State beat Michigan 42-39, the numbers 4-2-3-9 were actually drawn in that pick four. Number one in football, Florida. There's Urban Meyer in attendance tonight, taking on the defending champs in basketball, Billy Donovan's squad. They're currently ranked second. Torian Green for three. Florida up 16-6. Arkansas, though, would fight back on the fast break. Off the steal, Patrick Beverly, one-handed flush. It's a 4-point game. Sonny Weems gets down the floor in a flash for the jam. Gary Irvin leads to a two-handed dunk. And then Irvin tips in the Beverly miss to beat the buzzer. It's a 1-point game at halftime. Gator players showing some love for that trophy.
The first time in college athletic history you had a #1 basketball team and a #1 football team in the same year.
All the Florida football players were in attendance, except Chris Leak. He's hanging with Jay Leno tonight. So here we go. First play of the second half, Corey Brewer, the alley-oop to Joakim Noah. Noah had 11. Florida riding that halftime momentum. Al Horford dunking all over Arkansas's big man, Stephen Hill. Darian Towns dunking a foul. He had 18 in his double-double. And here's Patrick Beverly. They were just 2 of 15 from 3. Arkansas, their first lead of the night. But then Noah misses it again. This time finds Lee Humphrey. And Humphrey would settle things down for the easy 2. Florida retakes the lead. From in front of his bench, Green, the 3. From the same spot as Green, Humphrey drains the 3. All 5 Florida starters scoring double figures, and they do go on to win. Gainesville becoming one of the toughest places in college basketball to try to steal a win. Gators are 26-2 at home over the last 2 seasons. They've won 13 straight home games. That's tied for the 3rd longest streak in the Billy Donovan era, 6th longest in school history.
One of those home games was a win over Ohio State, but Buckeyes have won 3 in a row on their way to a date with number 4 Wisconsin tonight. Orlando Tucker, Greg Oden, ready for action. First half, Wisconsin up 5. Jason Chappelle with a spin move, and he draws a foul on Oden. Picks up his second, that would send him to the bench. 10 seconds left in the first half, Badgers up 1. Tucker, he's their senior leader, and he sends his team into the locker room up 3. Second half, Ohio State down 2. Mike Conley Jr., another one of Thad Matta's talented freshmen with a rip and the big finish. In addition to the Florida loss, Ohio State also lost to North Carolina, looking for a big road win. They did beat Illinois on Saturday. Second half, Wisconsin up 3. Chappelle misses a layup. Tucker there for the putback over Oden. And the Badgers up 5. Shortly thereafter, 3-point game, Wisconsin up off the inbounds pass. Shot clock winding down. But Tucker, he just finds a way. And he gets the roll. That's a top play nominee. Check him out. Somehow maintains control of the ball before he comes down, beats the shot clock, and then makes the bucket. Badgers up 5. Second half, they're up 8 and pulling away on the break. Michael Flowers to Tucker. It's a 10-point game. Ensuing possession off the inbound. Tucker with the steal. Headed down court. Swatted away by Oden, but Joe Krabbenhoff there for the putback. Badgers up 12. Things just seem to work out for them at home. Under 6 minutes left in the second half, it's Cameron Taylor. He had a season-high 25. Badgers up 12, so you think it's going to be a blowout. But wait a minute, Thad Matta's team coming back. 8-point game. Michael Flowers to Tucker. So they got it back up to 10, but Ohio State just wouldn't go away. Oden inside. He had just 10 points and 3 for 7, but he made it a 5-point game. Wisconsin went back up 6. Ron Lewis. 3 ball. Bang, bang, bang. It's back to a 3-point game. After a Badger free throw, the lead at 4. Oden back at the rim.
It's a 2-point game.
Another free throw for Wisconsin. So it's back to a 3-point game. Ohio State can tie it with a 3. They turn to Jamar Butler, but he can't knock it down. And Wisconsin's win streak at home up to 16 now. They won 12 in a row overall. and they are tough to beat in Madison. Bo Ryan in his 6th season as Wisconsin's head coach, his teams have been almost automatic at the Kohl Center. They're 85-5 at home over the past 6 seasons. Only Gonzaga, Southern Illinois, and Duke have better home records over that same time span. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale had the best seats in the house. They've got more from Madison.
Well, it seems every time Wisconsin has a really big game, most of the focus is on the other team, or the other team has, or what the other team's advantages are. Yet Wisconsin, more often than not, Dick, they find a way to win.
Well, they found a way to win because Cameron Taylor was sensational today, and Tucker made big plays when he had to make big plays. He struggled on a free throw line, but you got to credit Ohio State. Down 16, they come back, they make a gallant run, they make those threes, get them back in the game, and they finally utilized Odin on the offensive end. Start throwing some lobs, taking advantage of his great talents.
Odin didn't make a field goal in the first half, wound up with 10 points, but the story was Cameron Taylor, a season-high 25 points and a visit with Aaron Andrews.
Cameron Taylor with 25 points tonight. You're saying to me right now that was a tough game, but you were able to hold on. What does that say about this team?
It says a lot about the team. You know, we've matured a lot through the season. You know, we had a couple young guys step up today, and it's all about maturing. You know, we're getting better, and we have that experience back from last year, so we know how to handle games like this.
Alondo Tucker told me today you are playing the best basketball he has seen out of you. Why?
I'm just slowing the game down. You know, I'm not trying to force anything. You know, he's our main guy, and he's going to be our main guy on most nights. And, you know, when he's not getting it, you know, that's when I have to step up. So it's just a matter of not forcing things and taking good care of the ball.
How was this team able to contain Greg Oden tonight the way you did?
We just took it right at him. I mean, we saw it when he played against Florida, and, you know, we got him in foul trouble. Our bigs did a great job of just taking it at him, not being intimidated, and it worked out.
Cam Taylor, thank you.
Thank you.
I think Cameron Taylor definitely at least sharing the spotlight with Alondo Tucker here tonight.
Well, there's Chris Rock. He looks like Chris Rock. There he is making the layup. Cameron Taylor. I'll tell you. And there's Tucker with that fadeaway jump shot. He's my choice midseason player of the year. I would pick Mr. Tucker the way he's been playing. Facekas and certainly Big Baby Davis. And you can't count out Tyler Hansbrough as well in terms of talking about player of the year at this time.
The Badgers have the highest ranking in the program's history. Number 3 in the coaches poll, number 4 in the media poll. They've only lost once all season. That was back in November to Missouri State, and they pick up a big one in the battle for Big Ten supremacy here in Madison.
This is awesome. This is the greatest honor a baseball player can get.
Coming up inside SportsCenter, Tony Gwynn, Cal Ripken with days to remember. Mark McGuire, one to forget. His reputation tarnished for good. 2 of the West Division leaders tango. Utah Jazz to give Dallas a second straight loss, but was there too much dirt to handle? Plus, we're all over this weekend's arms race. Win or lose, which quarterback performance will be the most talked about after the game?
Disciplined investing. It isn't about star fund managers. At T. Rowe Price, it's about experienced investment teams that stay the course. For each 1, 5, and 10-year period, 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Stunning video, MP3 sound, broadband speed, internet, and email. All working flawlessly together in one ultra-thin device. The new Blackjack. Only from Singular.
SportsCenter, brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Mutual funds, IRAs, college savings from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. And Singular, raising the bar.
If Mark McGuire hit one high and far but foul, Cal Ripken Jr. and Tony Gwynn hit line drives right up the middle. The doors of baseball's Hall of Fame swing wide open for them July 29th. The squeaky clean Padre and Oriole And despite playing in the age of free agency, that's all they ever were, a Padre and an Oriole. Ripken said all he wanted to hear was, "You're in." A little different for Gwynn, who was actually worried he was going to get 100% of the votes, something that's never happened before and still hasn't happened. If Ripken would have been picked by 2 of the 8 voters who didn't select him, he would have set the percentage record. 2 voters submitted blank ballots. Ripken was much more than just made of iron. 19-time All-Star, 2-time AL MVP, while setting power hitting standards for shortstops.
I know a lot of people had said it was a foregone conclusion that I'd have a chance for the Hall of Fame, but I never believed any of that sort of thing. And it was a wonderful moment to get a call and say congratulations and welcome to the Hall of Fame. There were moments when you're a kid, when you're dreaming and fantasizing about being a ball player, that part of that fantasy and part of that dream would be someday that you would, be in the Hall of Fame. I loved playing every minute of being a ball player. I had a dream a long time ago of being a ball player. So in many ways, it's just a continuation and a celebration of that dream that I was able to live.
Cal Ripken Jr. was one of only 8 players with 3,000 hits and 400 home runs, so he was much more than just the Major League Baseball Iron Man. He's the Orioles' all-time leader in games, runs, hits, home runs, and RBIs, and holds the Major League Baseball record for homers by a shortstop, going big fly 345 times as a middle infielder. Tony Gwynn was a 15-time All-Star during his 20-year career in San Diego. No one could question his hitting, but he hit just 135 home runs, matching Mark McGwire's 2-season total in '98 and '99. He said to be a Punch and Judy spokesperson.
To be honest, when the phone rang, the first thing I thought about was validation. I never won any championships. I didn't win any MVPs. Didn't hit a whole lot of home runs and wasn't quite sure how people were going to vote on that. And so when the phone rang this morning, I think it all kind of hit you at once. He didn't even have a chance to get out, "You're a Hall of Famer." He just said congratulations, and I was done. I'm excited about it because it gives me an opportunity to toot the horn of the contact guy.
Tony Gwynn batted .289 as a rookie, never batted below .300 again. Gwynn had 18 straight seasons with at least 125 at-bats and a .300 batting average, second most in history. Only Ty Cobb, also a first-ballot Hall of Famer in 1936, had a longer streak. Gwynn finished his career with a .338 batting average.
Meanwhile, Mark McGwire's candidacy was viewed as the first Hall of Fame referendum on a player accused of using steroids. The result? The voters rejected McGwire in his first year on the ballot, and by a wide margin. He got just 23.5% of the vote. His prodigious home run numbers weren't enough. McGwire has 583. That's good for 7th on the career list, and more than any other player who is eligible for the Hall of Fame, but not in. McGwire, of course, said famously that he didn't want to talk about the past when he appeared before Congress in March of 2005, but apparently the allegations of steroid use in his past did matter to the voters. But will McGwire be penalized for only a short time? Tim Kirkchin takes a look ahead.
Mark McGwire got 23% of the vote for the Hall of Fame, another indication that it may take a long time before he's enshrined in Cooperstown. He might get a bump next year from the writers who didn't vote for him on the first ballot as punishment for his alleged involvement with steroids. There are 5 Hall of Famers: Duke Snider, Billy Williams, Louis Aparicio, Bruce Sutter, and Don Drysdale, who had similar vote totals to McGwire in their first year, but eventually made it. The difference is, and it's a big difference, they didn't have a steroid cloud hanging over their head.
So let's crunch the numbers. McGwire's name appeared on just 128 of the record 545 ballots, falling well short of the 75% that he needed for induction. Ripken got 98.5% of the votes, the 3rd highest percentage ever behind Tom Seaver in '92 and Nolan. 7th highest total ever. Carl Ravitch now on the Baseball Tonight crew with more on the newest Hall of Fame.
McGwire actually finished 9th in the balloting behind other guys like Andre Dawson and Burt Blyleven and Steve Phillips. Peter Gammons here to put some perspective on what we saw. For the next 15 years, you'll be able to vote, the baseball writers, on Mark McGwire. Over that period of time, will he ever get enough votes to get in?
I think there's a chance if we learn that were 1,000, 1,800 players in a 20-year period up through about 2005 that used some sort of performance-enhancing drugs. I think there'll be, there could be some revisionist history. People will say, all right, the majority of players were doing it, fine. McGwire is one of the greatest home run hitters of that period. But it may be that we find out just the opposite, that not as many as we think did. And I think there's some of the people who voted for him, myself included, might say, you know what, there's no chance we'll vote for him.
See, he needs 52% more of the vote in order to get in. I don't think he ever gets in. If he comes out and says, I did it, this is why I did it, he's not going to get in. If he gives the man culprit, admits to doing it. And otherwise, he's going to have to come out and say why he testified the way that he did, and then say, I never used it. Because of the way he testified, I don't think he gets there. I don't care what we find out of anybody else. 52% of the vote is too much to overcome.
Historically, there's at Cooperstown, the dead ball era, and players get in from the dead ball era. There's the live ball era, and players get in. If you compare dead ball era numbers with steroid era numbers, those guys would never get in under the steroid era. Why not just take the best of the steroid era and say, get in?
Well, I mean, listen, voting has taken place across different eras. Remember, we didn't have Negro League players playing in the major leagues for the longest time. Then they came in, numbers changed, you had more players participating, talent diluted a little bit, you had expansion, but yet voting has gone across. But for some reason, the steroid issue is looked at quite differently and is cheating. People don't seem to be looking at as an era that you just vote yourself through.
But I do think in this era, what we found is, in my mind, home runs are really devalued. I mean, if you take the 8 top hitters of all time in home runs per 100 plate appearances, McGwire is number 1, but 7 of the top 8 were playing in the 90s. Babe Ruth's the only guy in that top 8 category that didn't play in the 90s.
But it's come back. I mean, Ryan Howard, David Ortiz, 50s and 40s are now what everybody seems to expect as your top home run hitters. When you look at the game of baseball with regards to what McGwire meant to it, there's a big contradiction going on. Steroid era, didn't get in, and yet more popular than ever. TV ratings are off the charts. People are going to games more than ever. What does it say about baseball fans and their feelings about the steroid era?
What they really care about is the immediate. I mean, just take the New York Mets, for example. I mean, where do they go without Guillermo Mota last year? Guillermo Mota gets suspended for the first 2 months, and he gets a 2-year contract. So, I mean, people are not saying, oh, we have to completely rid our sport of this.
I think they're drawing the line between, I'm a fan, I want my team to win, but when it comes to sort of putting down in perspective the entire history of the game, we can't go there. We don't want that.
See, I don't be an idealist about it, but people love baseball. I mean, they keep coming out attendance. Revenues continue to grow despite the punch in the gut that the fans in the game takes every other year and every other week with the story of steroids. I don't think the fans are bothered that much. I mean, they're bothered by it, but they're separating it from the game itself, from the individual decision-making of the players.
In the end, the day belongs to Ripken, it belongs to Gwynn, and the idea that perhaps McGwire overshadows those two, perhaps the whole McGwire discussion makes them shine even brighter. With Steve Phillips, Peter Gammons, I'm Carl Ravitch.
35 years ago tonight, the Lakers' 33-game winning streak came to an end, the longest winning streak in Major League sports history. Kobe of these Lakers shooting for a 5-game winning streak in Memphis. Bryant doing his best. He had 25 to lead L.A., had a 7-point lead at the half. In the third, though, here's the Grizzlies working the fast break. Damon Stoudemire to Pau Gasol. Then Stoudemire, long pass ahead to Miller for the breakaway jam. Rudy Gay showing off the fast hands and the fast feet. Grizzlies 24 fast break points in the third. Lakers 0. Outscored them overall 46-22 in that third quarter. Here's Stoudemire to Akeem Warwick. Stoudemire 6 assists. Get this, Grizzlies have won 7 of their last 9 games against the Lake Show.
Blazers in San Antonio to square off with the Spurs. Tony Parker banged up hip. San Antonio had lost 3 of 4 trying to get right early first quarter. Tim Duncan, how easy is that? And later in the first, Spurs down 3. Manu Ginobili, that's not very easy either. Spurs down 21-18 after 1. Second quarter, different quarter. Spurs started to take it inside. Parker with the drive to the basket. He had 14. Parker, no, but Duncan there for the tip. Spurs 31.6% from the floor in the first, 66.7% in the second quarter. Now in the fourth, Ginobili, that falls. He had 14. Spurs win at 98-84. Portland has dropped 8 of its last 10. NBA coming your way on ESPN Wednesday. Allen Iverson looks to stake his claim in the Western Conference. He leads the Nuggets against the Spurs, led by Tim Duncan. NBA Wednesday on ESPN 9 Eastern Time.
We can be as successful as we can be and be champions here at Alabama again.
That was halftime of tonight's basketball game. Nick Saban already feeling at home in Alabama. Did he fire up the Tide on the court against LSU? And Peyton Manning had his share of playoff disappointments. Coming up next, why the Colts just can't afford another off game from number 18.
Inspired by a true story of the world's most terrifying serial killer, he has claimed over 300 victims.
I shot him again and again. He refused to die.
He remains at large.
We're going to show people what's happening here.
This Friday, in a remote corner of Africa,
You realize we could die here?
the hunt for a killer begins. Primeval, rated R, starts Friday.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. I hate to go and leave this pretty sight. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu.
Adieu, adieu to you and you and you.
Say goodbye to the 2006 models with up to $4,000 cash back or visit Kia.com.
The dawn of a new season. Will champions still rule? Is there an upset in the making? A star ready to be born? The greatest dramas in tennis unfold. The Australian Open. Coverage begins Sunday at 7 on ESPN2.
Make a smooth approach. Make smooth contact with Electric Shave Pre-Shave Lotion. Stands up whiskers for up to a 52% closer shave. Electric Shave. Blade close, electric smooth.
Can an odor-free cream stand up to your back pain?
You better fit Aspercream.
Aspercream is clinically proven to knock out the pain with the maximum strength formula that's odor-free. Arthritis pain stopped?
You better fit Aspercream.
Trust Bathfitter to remodel your bathroom. In just one day, America's leading bath and shower remodeler will install a custom-made tub or shower to fit perfectly right over your old one.
Call 1-888-277-2617 for your free in-home estimate or visit us at bathfitter.com.
The NFL's divisional playoffs coming up this weekend. Here are the 8 remaining playoff quarterbacks by the numbers. Start with 3, the number of remaining quarterbacks without a playoff win. Drew Brees, Rex Grossman, and Phillip Rivers. Still looking to get it done in the postseason. Rivers the only quarterback making his playoff debut. 5 combined Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl wins, 2 MVPs for Tom Brady, and losses by Steve McNair in Super Bowl 34, Matt Hasselbeck last year. 33, number of postseason touchdown passes by Brady and Peyton Manning. Other 6 quarterbacks combined for just 22. And 42, the playoff completion percentage for Rex Grossman. The other 7 playoff quarterbacks, all above 58%. More on how the quarterbacks will fare now with the NFL Live crew.
Thanks. Welcome into NFL Live. Trey Wingo here with Sean Salisbury. Sean, if I've heard you say it once, you've said it 4,000 times. Play
Don't cheat me out of my other 10,000.
is all about the quarterback. So with that in mind, let's break down the quarterback position this weekend divisional round. The team that needs great quarterback play to win is
Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning. Now, we usually expect that from Peyton, but when you look at this team, the Ravens, and how physical they are, and I contend, as good a coach as Tony is, and with all the other good athletes they have on that team, without Peyton Manning or a bad game by Peyton Manning, this is a below 500 team. He must play well, has to perform against a great defense.
And he did not play very well against Kansas City. Yes, he was 30 of 38, but he had 3 interceptions.
Isn't that amazing? We're saying that 30 of 38.
Good news is he doesn't have to worry about Ty Law anymore. All right, the team that doesn't need great quarterback play to win.
Chicago Bears. They're playing against an inconsistent Seattle team right now, who they whooped early in the season. Yes, Sean Alexander's back, but with Rex Grossman, I just need to find middle ground. All I need to do is not have you bad and not have you great, just somewhere in between. 13 out of 20 for a touchdown and no picks, and they'll win because I think the Bears defense can overcome it. Doesn't need to be great, and he needs to ingrain that in his mind. Just be reliable, and the Bears can overcome that.
Again, Grossman's last outing, 3 interceptions, only 2 completions to his team. Aside from Grossman, the quarterback most likely to struggle is?
Yeah, we're already putting Grossman in the struggling category. Phillip Rivers, and here's why. Trey, the numbers. He's in the last 6 games of the season, regular season, completed only 52% of his passes, which is not like him. He's 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 77, just a little over. While some of that's average, he's got to play better because you know Belichick is going to give him all kinds of different looks. His idea will be take LT out of the game and make Phillip Rivers beat him. If Phillip Rivers plays like that, he can't beat the New England Patriots. There's going to be a big onus on him to perform. So that one may be the one that struggles because of all the looks.
And you know Bill Belichick and company are going to have something really exotic to throw at him with their blitzes and schemes. All right, the quarterback whose performance will be talked about Monday.
No brainer. It's Peyton Manning again. win, because if they win, it will have been a spectacular performance. Right. Peyton will have taken on a great defense and hammered them and played well and thrown touchdowns and got them in rhythm and put the ball in the end zone. And if it's over 20, I expect the Colts will be in that rhythm. But if they don't win, you know what we're going to say? No matter what the result is, it's going to be Peyton Manning's fault, according to everybody. And boy, you didn't win the big game. Why can't Peyton win a Super Bowl? Peyton Manning is the reason this team's here for the most part. They will win because of him, not in spite of him, if they do. He must perform in this game.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Peyton has won his last 3 games against the Ravens, but those last 3 games against the Ravens were not when Steve McNair was quarterbacking in Baltimore. Back to you.
More NFL on ESPN.com. Len Pasquarelli believes the Saints need Drew Brees to continue his magical season and take advantage of a thin Eagles secondary that's without Lito Shepherd. So log on and check it out.
Back to college hoops, Oliver Purnell's 14th-ranked Clemson squad, the only undefeated school left in Division I. And when James Mays is in the lineup, they've won 27 straight. Playing at NC State, Sam Perry, the steal, and Mays finishes. Later in the first half, Clemson was up 4. Mays, but maybe this is why they win with him in the lineup. He does things like stealing the inbounds and hitting the layup. Second half, Clemson up 11. Trevor Booker misses the up and under. Okay, Mays is there. He had 16-8 in the game. Clemson up 10. Casey Rivers scored in double figures for the 7th time this season while coming off the bench. Significant. Vernon Hamilton, the 3. Clemson wins again. Tie the best start in school history. Jay Billis remembers the first time.
Clemson moves to 17-0 for the first time since Horace Grant was a Tiger. And this Tiger team under Oliver Purnell is really good in transition, and they're really good at pressing up. They trap that first pass. They've got 6'9" James Mays on the ball, and that helps them force tempo to force turnovers so they can get into a running game. Also a very good offensive rebounding team. They've got an outstanding guard in Casey Rivers that comes off the bench, gives them 16 points per game, and Mays is a game changer. Clemson is for real. They've gotten off to a great start in the ACC. There's more to come.
Jay, it was 20 years ago the Tigers won their first 17 games, averaging almost 90 points per game, but they went on to lose their 18th game. And, of course, as you see at the bottom, they're lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They fell to Duke that year. This year's squad is doing it more with defense, holding their opponents to an average of just over 61 points per game. Their 18th game will come Saturday at Maryland.
This past Saturday, LSU knocked off UConn, taking on Alabama tonight. The old Alabama legend, Ken Stabler, new Alabama legend, Nick Saban in the house. Big baby Glenn Davis from LSU playing with sore ribs, hurt knee from Saturday's 2-car accident. First half, LSU up 5. Davis, he's spinning, showing no signs of injury, but Alabama responded with Alonzo G. The slam, then he hit a 3. He had 15 points in the first half, 11 in 4.5 minutes. It was a one-man rally. Alabama up 9 at the break. Early second half, Crimson tied up 6. Jamario Davidson and Richard Hendricks missed the free throw, but Alabama still in control. Second half, LSU down 12. Davis doing all he can. Bucket and the foul, 24 points, 17 rebounds. LSU cut it to 9. Later in the second half, Richard Hendricks. He had 18, and Alabama hangs on to beat the Tigers 71-61.
That's the kind of person I am. Overpaid athlete that wants to try and give something back.
After 2 rough seasons in the Bronx, the big unit is back with the D-backs. See what Randy Johnson is looking forward to most in his return to the desert. And Toronto, 4 games under 500, still leading the Atlantic. Raptors with the second-place Nets in a battle for the worst first in the NBA.
Breakdown brought to you by McDonald's.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
Multiply your possibilities. Introducing Intel Core 2 Duo, the world's best processors. You
kidding me? What? Pull over.
I didn't do anything. Kid's older brother owes money, and Johnny's holding it until he gets paid.
So you're like ransom or something. That's hot.
Kid goes home. Everybody's looking at life.
Life.
Lord, give me a sign.
This Friday,
We gotta kill the kid.
That's a joke, right?
how far do you go
There's a missing person poster on every street corner.
when there's no turning back?
I would never rat you guys out. Yeah, we know that, man.
Alpha Dog, rated R, starts Friday.
With Budweiser Select, beer has come a long way. We search out the finest ingredients over 2 continents to give it a bold taste. Then we brew it longer for a smooth finish. Never before has beer been made like this. Never has one tasted like this. Budweiser Select.
Expect more. Expect everything.
Cause there's a party over here, so you might as well be here with the people care.
Breaking news from college football. Sources close to USC have told ESPN that USC wide receiver Dwayne Jarrett has selected an agent and will announce on Wednesday that he'll forego his remaining collegiate eligibility and enter the 2007 NFL Draft. He's a junior, 2-time All-American, and he had 70 catches for 1,015 yards and led the Trojans with 12 touchdowns this season. The official announcement is expected at a 2 p.m. news conference tomorrow afternoon.
Back to the NBA, Mavs and Jazz, they met a month ago. Utah blasted Dallas by 22. Avery Johnson and the Mavs trying to fix that. First quarter, Josh Howard throwing down over Andre Kirilenko. Watch it again. Howard, the jam there. Mavericks had a 13-9 lead. Jerry Stackhouse, elbow to Matt Harpering. And here's something you don't see often. Jerry Sloan doesn't like the foul, and the player and the coach exchange some words. Stack called for the technical. He would be ejected in the third quarter. In the second quarter, Carlos Boozer, the strip on Dirk. You don't see that often. Later, Boozer, another steal. And finishes another dunk. Why not? Jazz led 53-45 at the half. Mavs had 14 turnovers in that first half. In the third, Mavs down 1. Not for long. Dirk puts them up by 2. Dallas up 3. Dirk working on the elbow. That's the position on the court there. The Mavericks up 104-99. 20 seconds left. The Jazz are down 3. Darren Williams, forget the 3. He's going to go for 2, and it's blocked by Eric Dampier. Dirk picks it up. They foul him. And the Mavericks do go on to win 108-105. Dirk a season-high 38. Well, entering tonight, the Raptors were your Atlantic Division leaders.
Ooh, they're good.
Of 15-19. That would be last place in the Central, Stan. It's not just Toronto, though. The entire Atlantic, a combined 39 games below 500. Therefore, a critical showdown tonight in New Jersey. Nets a half game back of the Raptors in the battle for first place and supremacy in the Atlantic. Jason Kidd, he's got a bad back. He's got some other issues, but not there. Able to kick out to Vince Carter. Marcus Williams floats one to Hassan Adams. Nice. Put the Nets up 2 in the second quarter. Tied at 26. Andrea Bargnani for 3. Bargnani finished with 4 3-pointers and 22 points. Big man who can shoot. That's how he becomes a top pick. Carter misses down low, gets his own board, and doesn't miss again. Carter was 12 of 23 from the floor. Here's Kidd. The dish to Jefferson. Nice look. Nets move ahead by 4. There's the great ball fake. Kidd had 14 assists, 10 points, 8 boards. In the fourth, Nets up 7. Kidd to Carter. Carter finished with 32 points, 7 assists, and 5 boards. Jamal Mashburn.
The team that's winning the Atlantic Division this year is the New Jersey Nets. They have the big 3 on the perimeter with Richard Jefferson, Jason Kidd, and Vince Carter. Now the question is, can this team win a playoff series? And absolutely not. The reason is they don't have interior presence. None on the defensive end and none on the offensive end. So in the playoffs for the New Jersey Nets, this will be a tough go-around.
Well, along those lines, Jamal, only 3 teams in NBA history have finished the regular season atop their division despite finishing below 500, but it hasn't happened since the 75-76 Bucks won the Central with a 38-44 record. And as Jamal was alluding to, no surprise, all 3 of these teams on this list failed to win the playoff series.
Next up, Philly Pistons and Sixers. Before the game, Richard Hamilton compared himself to other big-time scorers in the league, and he talked about how he's different from them.
You can see a guy out there that dominates the ball the whole game and get 18 points. you know, but it looks like 30, you know. And you can watch me play, and I'll get 30, and it seems like 12 to 14 points.
Didn't quite get 30, he did have 22. One of his teammates got 30, though. Tayshaun Prince. No Chauncey Billups for Detroit, so Prince took matters into his own hands. 13 of 18 from the field. With his team up 15 in the fourth, Prince, I mean, he was feeling it. Step back three, no problem. Career high 33 for Tayshaun. Pistons win it 98-89.
Randy Johnson endorsed Arizona's plans to start Brandon Webb on opening day. Johnson officially rejoining the Diamondbacks today. The 43-year-old lefty with the cranky back. 2-year, $26 million deal. Passed his physical yesterday. Reflected on his recent pass today.
The run that I had, as short-lived as it was, as well documented as it was in New York, I wouldn't change a thing. I think those are life experiences that make a man. I'm just very excited to be back and be a part of the history here and continue my career. Looking forward to being number 51 again. I believe that number's still available. And as far as the mullet coming back, I think I'd have to wear a wig or have hair extensions for that to happen.
Underneath that new Diamondbacks hat. Randy Johnson going back to the team where he had his most success in the bigs in his 6 seasons in the desert. Johnson won 103 games, ERA of 2.65, picked up 4 Cy Young awards to go along with the MVP he shared in the World Series with Curt Schilling.
College football news. Bobby Petrino took the head coaching job in Atlanta after just one meeting with the Falcons. And Louisville didn't waste any time finding Petrino's replacement either. Louisville athletic director Tom Jurek flew to Oklahoma to meet with Tulsa coach Steve Kragthorpe Monday night. This morning, Kragthorpe was on the flight back to Louisville with a new job. He's got a 5-year deal with the Cardinals that will pay him $1.1 million. The hire probably happened so quickly because Jurek already knew so much about Kragthorpe. They've been friends since 1990 when they were both at Northern Arizona. Now Kragthorpe's job is to keep the momentum Louisville managed under Petrino. This season that included the Big East title and an Orange Bowl win, so they don't need a turnaround, but Kragthorpe did turn things around at Tulsa. 29-22 in 4 seasons with Tulsa, leading the Golden Hurricane to 3 bowl appearances in 4 seasons at Tulsa. He was the 2003 WAC Coach of the Year and was also the quarterback coach of the Buffalo Bills in 2001 and 2002.
The hockey news now. We've been following the Vote for Rory campaign from the very beginning, and now, sadly, it's over. In the end, Rory Fitzpatrick of the Vancouver Canucks didn't get enough votes to put him in the top 2 among defensemen in the NHL's Western Conference. And it's highly unlikely his play will get him invited to the NHL All-Star Game later this month in Dallas. The 31-year-old journeyman defenseman has 1 point this season. He was the subject of an internet campaign that had him among the top 2 vote getters until the final weeks of voting. He wound up finishing 3rd, ahead of even Chris Pronger. Here are your Western Conference All-Stars. Scott Niedermayer and Nicholas Lidstrom beat out Fitzpatrick as the starting Western Conference defenseman. Rory got more than 550,000 votes, only 23,000 behind Lidstrom. Joe Sakic of the Avs and a pair of Sharks, Joe Thornton. He was the top vote getter in the West. And Jonathan Chichu will start up front, while Roberto Luongo, Fitzpatrick's teammate, will be in net. Ducks and Predators having all-star seasons. Thomas Vacuum starting his first game for Nashville in goal since he hurt his hand November 23rd. Andy McDonald to Teemu Selanne. You know he can score. We were tied at 4. In overtime, Kimmo Timonen circles the net. Pass to a wide-open Steve Sullivan, and there's your game winner. Sullivan at the point, slips the puck between 2 Duck players to Timonen. He circles the net, everybody collapses on the goal, and Sullivan slips it into the slot and scores his 13. The potential Western Conference Finals preview won by the Predators.
What about the Eastern Conference All-Stars? Well, here's the lineup. 3 of the 6 starters, Daniel Briere, Brian Campbell, and Ryan Miller, come from the conference-leading Sabres. Penguin center Sidney Crosby led all vote-getters with more than 825,000 votes. He'll be joined on the front line by fellow second-year phenom Alexander Ovechkin. Montreal Sheldon Souray rounds out the starting lineup. Now, we mentioned Crosby, his team trying to get its first win over the Lightning in 11 tries. Tampa Bay skating with Pittsburgh. You see Crosby leading the league with 64 points. Martin St. Louis tied for the league lead with 26 goals. Let's get it on. First period, scoreless game. Crosby steals a puck from Dan Boyle on his knees, and he still scores 5-hole. Penguins up 1-0 just 24 seconds into the game. 24 of the year for Crosby now. That's why he's the leading vote getter. Second period, game tied at 1, Lightning on a power play. St. Louis beats Marc-Andre Fleury. Tough angle. St. Louis 27th of the year. Third period, St. Louis steals the puck from Sergei Gonchar. It's Andreas Carlson. Gets 2 whacks at it and scores. Lightning win at 3-2. St. Louis a goal and a pair of assists.
Still to come here on SportsCenter, all our top stories are coming back, including 583 home runs. Not enough to get Mark McGwire into the Hall this time around.
We are a family, so we're going to deal with this as a family. Your father never cut off anybody's pinky? Rules are rules. You only got 2 choices. If I find out, you're lying.
We have got guns here.
So give me what I tell you.
Watch your step.
You're going to keep your mouth shut. You ain't coming back. Think I don't know what's your funny? We just want to talk to you. You got 24 hours.
Are you in the mafia?
There's no mafia.
Nothing is impossible. It's a dirty word, a challenge dismissed with a rip and a shred. Gravity is my slave. I don't get air, I take it. I drop jaws, I shake boots, I destroy pipes. I collect precious metals. I don't just land tricks, I invent them. Winter X Games 11, it only happens here. January 25th through the 28th, live on ESPN and ABC. Presented by Jeep.
Every time I see her passing by, all I do is hang my head and cry.
The totally new Jeep Compass with 30 miles per gallon on the highway. It's freedom in a whole new dimension.
America runs on Dunkin's new white hot chocolate. One sip from this sweet, delicious treat, and you'll warm right up. Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin's hot chocolate. A little cup of cozy when you're hopping around town. Dunkin' Donuts. America runs